Hello.
Hello.
It's almost Christmas.
It is.
So as you can probably see, Cole has her attire.
It looks very cool. I love it.
I'm a reindeer.
She was funny because she was like, you know what? If I can make it today, I'm gonna be extra. And I was like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
This is my Christmas edition.
Oh my god, I love it.
Since I don't have anything Christmas on.
Well, I could have worn my hat again, but
Oh, that's cool.
I have the Christmas Barbie pop.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't actually have anything Christmas. I just figured, since like we are on the whole onesie theme, I'm just gonna have my onesie. So this is the onesie I met Andy Serkis in.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. That's special.
Yeah. That's my hang on. Where's the thingy?
That's Slytherin?
It's my Slytherin, yeah.
Nice.
So I just have onesie today. But,
this is the one time Enosh is not wearing his onesie. Or my onesie, should I say.
I'm not.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he wasn't wearing onesie 2 days ago either.
Yeah, that's true.
Every time I meet somebody or come on the stream, I have to wear a onesie.
Try to be professional and junk.
I felt a bit like having him wear a pink onesie to meet Zach would be a bit harsh. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
I would have done it, but yeah. Yeah, it's always better to probably have the first time you meet Zack Snyder, you look like, you got it together.
No, your public wants to see you in the onesie.
Oh.
Yeah, if Ray Porter got to, he might want to.
I mean,
but see that image is now ingrained in all of your heads, so you can always see me in a pink onesie because I'm just gonna live in the mind space of everyone out there in the pink onesie.
There is now fun art,
Yes.
There is no fun art, so you can't get away from it. It's just not gonna.
I love that in that fan art though, the way I forget his name got but the way he drew you peeking out
with the little ears.
Yeah, it was
great.
perfect.
Yeah,
that was so great. It's always good when you have an episode where something like funny like this happens, and then you turn on Twitter and you see people.
It was so impressive how fast that was made.
Yeah, that was cute.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's like we logged off and it was already done.
Speaking of artwork, though, I mean, it was awesome to see the work that was done on Sunday on this channel. To see
definitely.
Seeing how it was, going piece by piece during our stream, but then to see the final product was very cool.
Yes, yeah. Sylvia is really talented. Like she's so awesome. I remember there was the Martian Manhunter contest, and she won that, and she made like a GIF. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it was basically the contest was you were supposed to make create an art of Martian Manhunter as you imagine he would look like. Ooh. And what Sylvia did, and it was like supposed to be that scene that we've seen on the storyboards. So the one where he changes from Martha to Martian Manhunter. Mm-hmm. And what Sylvia did, she took the actual storyboard and she had sort of like she had like General Swanwick fly out of one, turn into Martian Manhunter, and then fly into another window of that storyboard. Oh, it was so great. I don't know if I can find it anywhere, but it was just awesome, and she won with that. So like, she's really talented. So I was really happy that we got to have her on. But there were other very talented artists. I personally only caught Victor Kuwazan for Nerds. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I think at this point everybody knows Victor. And then obviously I saw Max on World's Finest, and his art is amazing as well. Where can we buy all the dope art from? So there's going to be an auction. We are right now waiting for all the artists to finish their art because some of them are still finishing up. So last time I spoke to the people involved, it seems like we will be waiting until Monday, like as in next Monday. just to make sure that all the artists finish all their artwork and all that stuff, and then we will put it up for auction. Trying to figure out right now a bit of a logistics of that so that we can make it like, you know, like have a nice website for it and stuff. But you guys will be able to buy those next week.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
So, or buy.
Good. It gives everyone a second to like recover from Christmas.
Right.
Exactly.
It's weak, man. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna need a couple weeks off just to recover from this week in general. I mean, this is,
Yeah.
I mean, Christmas isn't even here yet, and I feel like I've had a whole week just over the weekend. I mean, it's not every weekend that, you know, you achieve a milestone on your YouTube channel, like, you know, hit 10,000 subscribers and have Ray Fisher on and get to meet Zach with you guys. I mean, and I ended up following Deborah Snyder over on Lightcast. So it's like I'm in the backstage, like, so cool listening to her talk, you know. And so I just, man, yeah, just trying to recover from all that is just, and then it's like, oh my gosh, Christmas is a couple days away. Wow.
You know what? This is like.
Oh, go
Sorry.
on.
No, I was just gonna say this is the thing. Like, you know, you have you dream of meeting all these people, and you dream about it for so long, and then by a coincidence, it just happens all in such a short span of time.
Yeah.
Like that's what we had with Justice Con, even though it wasn't like in such a short span of time, and we have known some people before. You know, a lot of that stuff just kind of went in a span of 2-3 weeks where we just met all these amazing people, and we were like, oh my god, I always wanted to meet you, this is so cool. And it's all happening all at once, and the next hour I'm meeting another person I always wanted to meet. What am I gonna do? So it's, you know, it's always a bit overwhelming, and then like you kind of have to come off that high for a few weeks.
And I didn't sleep that night, man. I was up till 8 a.m. You know, I mean, not now. I was doing super secret projects that she can't know about, but I was, man. I was just charged. Like I got off the last stream at I think like 2:30 in the morning, and it was just like I was still wired. It's like this day is just crazy. I mean, the good that was done that day too, just the money that was raised and everything. It's just so fantastic.
I'm so happy that we crossed the 500,000, and I mean, it's been honored that it happened during our stream, but I'm just so happy that it was like that we did it, because that was the whole. What is it?
I just opened the donor drive just to see what the number's at. It's at 43,000.
Oh my god, this is amazing! We're under 7K away from the 50,000.
Holy crap! It was the Den of Nerds donated $1,300.
Oh, so that's still from the
event.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We're actually gonna make the donation tomorrow for all the super chats that came in during our stream too.
Yeah, I have
so.
to.
I don't know if this was from the event, but someone got the Rothenberg family. I don't know who they are. Are you familiar? They donated $2,500.
Wow.
Oh, this is awesome. Amazing. Well, you know, you guys can still donate if you'd like. That one's is still going on, and we still have
in the description.
I don't know if it's I hope I put it in the description.
Have you failed this city, Nana?
I may have for once.
You have failed this.
I apologize if I did, but if it's not in the description now, it's gonna be there once this show is over, and I get to actually go in and fix the description. So I promise it's gonna be there eventually if it's not there now.
Aw.
Yes, we have Tinosh here.
Wonder Twin powers activate. We actually bought Wonder Twin shirts.
Yeah, we do.
So we can wear them out in public.
Oh, I love it.
Something we need to do now.
Yeah, they're purple, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, purple work. I can do purple.
Look, we like, as far as matching shirts go, like half of our wardrobe matches. So I'm not entirely sure if we're gonna go for anything special if we just get matching shirts.
It was funny when we were when I was a kid growing up with my younger brothers who are actual twins. You know, we always had the whole thing with with our parents having to buy 2 of everything until they started to slowly start to like develop their own tastes. And I always thought that, wow, that was such a waste. And then I met her and we became as close as we are. And it was like, well, now I'm back to buying 2 of everything. Usually if I get something for myself, I know it's like, she'll kill me if I don't grab it. And it's the same thing for her too.
That's how I feel with Tiffany a lot of times because we both, you know, collect and everything. And a lot of people have seen, you know, Tiffany's collection, which is really grown. My goodness, Tiff. Like sometimes I walk into our bedroom because she, you know, like I have this room and then we, you know, we collect stuff together in the house, but Tiffany's stuff is all in our bedroom. And so like, you know, I put up shelves for her and but
while you're doing lives, I'm in the room either watching shows, binging Netflix or, you know, something like that. And so it's like, I have my toys to look at that way.
Yeah. But the thing is that now there's so many things that like I see that come out and I'm like, well, I want that, you know, for my collection, but then I know that she's going to want that too, you know? So
you guys live in the same, well, never mind. Actually, no, I was going to say, you guys are in the same house.
Irrelevant.
Yeah,
I know it's weird, but you know, but like I know, like say for example, you know, a Star Wars figure, like you know, like there's an Asajj Ventress Black Series figure coming out, so I want that, but I want it on my wall, you know, here in the Star Wars room.
I think I want that. You said Asajj Ventress, and I was like,
I know, right? It's a great looking figure too. But the thing is I know that because she started her collection as just like Star Wars and DC figures who were like the female characters. And she's got a bunch of the male characters too, her favorites. But, you know, but that's the thing. So like, I'll see that figure and I know, okay, I want that, but I got to buy her one too. Or for example, when I pre-ordered my figure of the Armorer from the Mandalorian, right? It's like, I got mine, but I know I got to buy her one too, because she wants that. And a lot of times she'll look at me when I'm pre-ordering something and she's like, what are you pre-ordering now? And I'll go, well, this and that. I'm like, but I got you one. She's like,
yeah, that's usually with me and Nana. That's usually how our conversations go. We'll be like, oh, we're going to get this thing. And then I'm like, am I getting it for you or are you getting it for me? Because like one of us will do the bot so that way we can get the free shipping or whatever, or pay one shipping cost. And usually if it's an American company, she has it sent to me. So it's really just like, okay, whose card's going in this time?
What was it?
Yeah, that's essentially the thing. And then obviously it hoards over at Kohl's because the majority of the stuff we get is from the US. So it hoards over at hers. Then she usually puts it in like a big package and sends it over to mine. But because it's so much stuff and it usually, you know, piles up over months, we forget half of that stuff. So then it comes. And then she starts finding things that she was supposed to.
I didn't forget anything this time. I sent out her Christmas box yesterday. She's supposed to get it tomorrow. I didn't forget anything, I swear.
Or if you do,
because she was shoving one shirt in there last minute. She cut the hole in the side.
Yeah. So usually when I'm doing a package to Nana with like, usually it's got Funkos and T-shirts, especially from Ink to the People, and just all the stuff we've collected from the last few months. And then I don't have a box big enough. So usually I'll have to go find at least 2 boxes and then I have to cut them and try to Frankenstein duct tape them together.
Yep. We did that for my parents' package out of state.
I'm sure that when the post office, you know, gets these boxes, they're like, what the hell?
Well, I tell you what, I worked for FedEx for 14 years, and I did a lot of different things there. I started off like working at Kinko's making copies, and then Kinko's was bought by FedEx, and so then I was in corporate sales, and then towards the end of my career there, some stuff started going down, and I came back and I was like a shipping specialist. So I oversaw the shipping center that we had, and we had a little competition that we used to do because it was back when FedEx was really trying to push this idea of you let us pack your stuff. And people would bring in stuff sometimes and It would be like
right. I remember
so weird. It's like such weird looking stuff that needed a box that there's no box for that, you know. And I was the guy because I did exactly what you're talking about, like Frankenstein in boxes, you know, putting stuff together, making stuff work, taping it all up, and it's like, and then trying to just make it look good so your customer looks at you and goes, I have confidence that that's going to get there. which now I have OCD though, because about like boxes and stuff like that, because like we had to box things in a certain way. So if I get something from a company or if I get something from somebody, you know,
and it's not
it's not shipped correctly or boxed correctly or whatever, or I see people just like putting like a little piece of tape. I was at the post office mailing something out the other day for one of our subscribers, and this lady is standing there and like she puts like a little piece of tape. She's got this box and she puts that little piece of tape over the end, and I'm like, lady, that is not going to hold, you know. And people wonder why their stuff gets lost sometimes, or you know, gets damaged because, you know,
I think when Nana was moving back, when she lived, because she lived in America for a while, and then she got all of her nerdy crap while she was here. And then she moved back to Czech, and we were packing her stuff at my house because some of it was being shipped on a boat that the au pairs tend to use. So that way it's like a moving company, but it's still shipping and whatnot. And we put them in it. We put all her stuff into these giant boxes, and then we wrapped them in cellophane. And it was the weirdest. It was the weirdest thing. I think we. And then she felt terrible because she used all my dad's cellophane and went out and bought him another roll.
It was interesting with the whole moving thing, because when I was moving to America, I had my one lousy luggage, which wasn't even full. I just like sort of threw in my favorite pieces of clothing, and that was it. And I was like, you know, I don't care. I'm gonna get whatever I need over there. And so I got there with not even one luggage full. And when I was flying home, I had 2 full luggages, carry-on luggage, massive backpack. And then from Michigan, I shipped 2 big, like giant boxes. You know, they were like to my waist or higher, completely full of crap. And then I got to Kohl's, and I was with her for like last month of my stay, because essentially we could have like, once we finished the program, we could have stayed for a month. So we were, you know, doing road trips and stuff like that. And my luggages were already full. I was like, I can't do anything else. I can't even buy trinkets because I just don't have where to put them. So naturally, Cole bought me 5 more books, which ended up.
Were signed books by the authors, okay? I took my brother.
It was great. Look, I was very happy. I love my books, especially when they're like physical books, which, by the way, was another point of our fight, because I was like, I love my physical books. And she goes, no, you're getting Kindle because this is excessive and you can't move from country to country with your library.
Well, before that was right before that, when she was still in her last year, I had forced her to take my Kindle because I had one for years, and then my parents gifted me an iPad for school. So I was like, here, you're going to take it with you, so that way you can read. And besides, we share the books anyway, but still. And then after she went home, she refused to take it with her because like she didn't want to take it because it was a gift from my mom at one point. And so once she went home that Christmas, I bought her a Kindle, and I said to her when she was opening it, I gave her like this lecture. I was like, listen, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to like hear how it's not right. You're going to use it. And she does. But still.
Yeah, but it was so anyway, I ended up making another box, not as big, but like it was half as big but twice as heavy because it was full of books at that point. So we were shipping all this, and obvious, and it came home like to check. It actually came before I did, and my mom was just like, at one point she just sent me a picture of these 3 massive heavy boxes, which my brother was forced to drag upstairs because she couldn't. By the way, like we live like on my old childhood home is on the 3rd floor in 200 years old building with no elevator. So my brother had to grab and physically drag all that stuff upstairs.
Wow.
So I have my mom sending me picture of these 3 giant boxes in our living room, in our tiny city center apartment. And she's like, and what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah, I've been to the apartment and it's literally not big enough for those boxes. Like, you know, it's a small pre-war apartment, so it's kind of like her mom must have been so done. Like she was coming home and we were,
she's still done because some part of these things, like at least half of the box is still there. It has not left because like I always have to, like, I always come and I move certain bits, but I just can't carry all of it to the UK. So I've been just like carrying it bit by bit. So like there's still, you know, there's still hopeful, like I think one of those massive blue IKEA bags full of shoes that's still there.
I understand the feeling though, because you get stuff and it's like even us, you know, I mean, it's like Tiffany will still joke with me sometimes when like I order some stuff or I get some stuff for us and she'll look at me and go, what are you getting? What are you getting now? And it's not because she doesn't want me to get it. She's just like, where are you going to put that? You know, and it's like, I don't know. And it's so funny because still we kind of have a revolving door, don't we, Tiff, of like where stuff goes when it comes in. Like we kind of check it in the front door. It ends up on the island in the kitchen for a while. And then then finally, I think they have it out with me because I haven't.
When I finally get sick of looking at an island full of toys that are not moving, they go in the floor of your office until you decide where you want to put it.
Oh, so it's like Scott with his books. You've got Scott from Squadcast. He's got every new book. Oh my god.
I just got toys like sitting all around all around. Like people don't see like just to the right of me. Everybody always makes the joke when we're on stream and is like, "Wow, Enosh, how do you just have a toy ready for anything?" And
It's
literally right there.
Sitting there.
Because Scott from Squadcast has every new book he's been putting on the floor in front of his bookshelf to organize at a later date, and it just hasn't gotten to it. And when I think we did a project with him and some of the other guys, but back before like in June or May, and the floor was just covered. And he's like, "I'll take care of it eventually."
That's him. Eventually.
That's me. I'm the king of eventually. I got that.
And
see, in my defense, like I have only my bedroom to really fill stuff with, and so like I don't know if you can't really see it, but like the way my shelves are library style shelves, but they're bolted into the wall so I can have floor space. And then I've got these acrylic shelves that I have attached up above that for my Funkos, but I am short in a comical way, so I need to hassle one of my brothers to carry the ladder up the stairs for me, and then I can organize the Funkos. So like at least I'll start to have them pile up, and he's like, when are you gonna my dad's like, when are you going to ask for the ladder? And I was like, soon. I'll get to it.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I had my room only until recently because I shared my apartment with another housemate, but she moved out, and I have a friend coming in, and he is the same nerd as I am. So it's like, so I was like, so you do not mind if I occupy all the shelves in our shared space with my stuff? Because like this wall is getting a bit excessive, okay? And it's like I have like these frames that are over there. So that one's Justice League, over there's BVS, and then over here is like Man of Steel. Mm-hmm. And the Funkos are starting to go around it, so it's like a little bit like you should probably do something before it falls.
And the worst part, you know, because it's a house in the UK, so it's a bit older than like so, and it's going ever so slightly downhill.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know if it's like the whole UK, by the way, but like the area where I live in, because it's on the shore of in Cardiff, on the shore of the ocean and whatnot. Every single building is going downhill.
Oh no.
And it's like you don't really notice it in many things. Like you notice it, like say in the door, because obviously door stays like this, but when the building is going down, you have the top grazing on, and down there you have a space, and it's stuff like that. And it's just like, I remember in my work at one point, we had this double door and it had lock on top and bottom. And it like you just flipped it and it just kind of like went into the door, into the floor. But the second door wouldn't go to the floor because how the building goes down, the door stays, right? And they came in, people from the building, and they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna replace the door, we're gonna fix it. And I was looking at them, I'm like, what exactly are you gonna fix? You're gonna get like door that are going downhill, or which no, we're just gonna fix the door. I said, well, you would have to like fix the entire massive building, and mind you, that is a massive building.
Oh my
She
goodness.
didn't-
Like
she
opera
never
house.
mentioned it.
And I'm like, how are you gonna fix that one? Like, you're not gonna do anything.
Like, she never brought up the whole tilting thing until she started collecting Funkos, and she was like, look at this, and you can see there's like a little tilt in the, and because also she doesn't use anything like sticky tack. I've told her to use sticky tack.
Yeah.
Like, if you have the protector on it, then
Yeah.
you Gucci.
Well, I
I-
might have to eventually, but like, you know, there's a charm to it when it's like going all downhill and you never know what's gonna happen.
I actually use the sticky tack for some of the stuff on my shelf
Yeah.
because I'll have like the little ones, and actually it looks like some of them fell again, so I have to get more sticky tack. But some of them, it's like when you have a lot of them, you got to make sure that they stand up so they don't fall down or into each other.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but then in the other ones, I just have like the ones that I have out, and then the ones that I have like on the wall.
Oh, so the ones on the wall are sticky tack held?
They're actually up by tacks themselves,
Oh, that's a good. Okay.
so that
I
way it's
have to be careful with the
Yeah.
amount of tacks I use. My dad has like this thing about putting holes in walls.
well, we
Yeah.
figure when we do have to sell, we just figure that we will just use a buttload of spackle and just clean it
And
off.
ramen. I've heard you can fill holes in walls with ramen, apparently.
Oh, I'll have to try that out because I'm gonna
Not
have
the
like,
cooked one, though. Not the cooked one.
Yeah, you start
I would-
getting creative. Like when I started making the Black Series wall, you know, like I had them all spaced out because I had them with tacks and stuff like that, and I started doing that. But now I use like the flat thumbtacks, and then that way they're like right up on top of each other. You know, so
Oh,
there's no
yeah.
space, and I got it was amazing because I had the wall full for a while, and I needed more space. And when I started doing that, and I put them all next to each other like that, I had room for like something like 30 more figures.
you had like another row or two.
Yeah. What's that, Tiff?
I said you had like another row or two, and then
Yeah.
I agreed to let you put all your lightsabers in the living room so that way you can have more space in your office. So even though we have our Christmas stuff up, I want to take and put all of his lightsabers because he has the stands that hold his sabers, and I wanted to put them up like near the ceiling because I'm the one that came up with a sticker that says the Force is strong with this one. And I have that above our TV. So I'm like, get one of the big sabers or a couple of them. And then that way, if we have movie nights, if we're allowed to do that again, we can light up all the sabers and kind of have that ambiance in the room.
That sounds so cool.
Mhm.
So that's going to be a project in itself, but it's something that we both like.
I was gonna ask, do you guys like when you obviously collect toys and stuff? Have you ever or do you collect Cryptozoic toys?
I have not. I don't know if Enosh has.
What are Cryptozoid toys again?
They're statues, but they're gorgeous.
Oh,
They're absolutely gorgeous.
so I like statues. I like looking at statues. It's kind of funny because I don't really have any statues.
I do. I have the
Yeah.
one of Harley Quinn and
And Joker.
Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah, I got those for you. What, did I get those for you on your birthday this year?
I think
Or
so.
was it something else? I don't know. But that was the first two statues that we got because I found those and I found them together. And
Let me find my Harley, but keep
I think
talking.
we have Jimmy.
yeah. But I'm starting to dig, especially because we changed the decor in our living room a little bit, and so the statues kind of add a nice touch, I think, different from just having a toy.
Landon has a Flash figure that we got from Summit,
Yeah.
and then some of the boys have them, but they're all in their own rooms because not only us, but all of our boys now are asking for bigger shelves because they need more space for their stuff too.
Yep.
So we have a whole house full. It's like a little mini like.
So this is Cryptozoic.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cute.
That is cute.
That is a Noir Bombshell Harley. And I think Cole has the color one.
Yeah,
This
no, I
looks
have
like a
the
smaller version or the bigger
the
version of
normal
the-
Harley.
Because this is rock candy. That looks similar.
Yeah,
but I like
yeah.
that look too.
I have rock candy as well. This is a bit bigger than the rock candy though. Like rock candy would be like 2 here.
I added myself on my phone because I wanted to show you some of
Nice.
that. Is it working? Yes, now it is. But it's facing the.
Just turn it sideways and it'll work. It'll just automatically go after a second. It should. There you go.
Ha. Okay, so I gotta turn the light on.
Because I do the exact same thing when people ask me like, can I see this toy or that toy or do you have this or whatever? And I'm like, phone time. Let's go.
Can you hear me? Oh wait.
Yes, we can hear you.
There we
So
go.
this is what I do for the wands. I got these from China,
Ooh,
and they
Nice.
just kind
that's
of
a good
hang
idea.
Hmm?
That's a great idea to display the wands.
Yeah, they have them on Amazon, and like this would be a cool thing to do with the lightsabers you have. Like if you could do something similar that you aren't going to
That's-
put around the TV,
Yeah.
and then just for fun. My dad calls this part the infestation.
That's so cool.
That's very cool.
I love
These are all the
Amphibia displays.
the DC.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
There's Kylo.
Kylo Ren.
Yes.
He
I-
usually wears
And then
something on
it's
his head though. Like I don't know why not.
Oh wow! Yes,
Hey, that's
yes.
like my room.
I know it looks like this room almost, like the way that you got it. Oh my gosh, that's
This
awesome!
is so cool.
I so like to see another
And then
people. That's I live
for
for
all
that.
of the other Harry Potter stuff.
Oh sweet!
That is so cool.
I love stuff like that. I live for that. When people show me their stuff, you know, and like their collections and stuff, I love that because it's so funny because there's houses all over that people
Mhm.
don't have a clue as
No.
to what's in them, you know. And like this guy, he posted up, and I was looking at this guy posted on one of the Superman groups that I'm in. He has like this Superman mecha. I mean, like people say that I got a lot of stuff, but oh my gosh, this guy's got every statue. I mean, the big ones and just everything. And he's got these huge, like floor to ceiling display cases all around this room. And then he's got like the theater chairs, and he's got he's got 3 rows. And so it's like one on the floor, one raised just a little bit, and one up here. And he's got a big screen over there. He's got a Superman pinball game. He's got like all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh, it's so awesome to see other people's collections. And I'm like, you would drive past that guy's house and you'd never know that he has this amazing Superman collection.
Or when we're looking into car insurance and house insurance, and we need to make sure that we have enough house insurance to cover our collections if God forbid anything were to ever happen.
Yes.
So
You know what? Like I've been told by my friend that she was like, you know, maybe you should consider like looking into insuring your collection because I mean I don't have as much as Cole does. Well, it depends. But the thing is like with me, it's splattered across 3 countries. So it's really I'll get to the point where I have it all in one place one day, but you know, not yet. But I do have some Funkos that are, you know, super valuable. And I have the BBS Barbie, which I think is quite valuable at this point as well.
yeah.
I don't know if I've actually showed it live. I know I showed it to you guys in private, but I don't know if I showed it live. And yeah, no, so like, you know, so it's like everybody was like, well, maybe you should consider like insuring this. And I'm like, but the thing is that some of this stuff has much bigger emotional value than actual like
Yeah.
toy value.
Sure. Yeah.
Like,
It's been
I
really,
understand that.
for
especially
me,
for
like I've been in the same bedroom for over 20 years, so it's like it's a cute, and you know, there's very few items in my room that I've actually had for the entire 20 years because your interests evolve. But like, I think the lightsabers might be, and my furniture might be the longest living items in my room. But like, some of them are accidentally worth money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I have a Funko that goes for almost $1,000 on eBay right now, and it's one of the black box Batman 80 Funkos, and it's I would grab it, but it's too high up. That's another downside to being short and having it displayed the way my room is. I can't just grab it. But and it's the pink chrome one. It was a New York Comic-Con exclusive, and I just got it because it was an exclusive in the 80-year box, and then it started going for hella cash, and I was like, oh, what do I do? Do I put this in a safe?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like
that's my unmasked Flash. I have that in a hard shell because that was going up in price for the longest time.
We both have the Mandalorian Funko from New York City Comic Con, the first one that came out, which is like worth like $450 right now.
It's funny with that one, they only let me buy a New York Comic Con, so they were the last time I went, they were like really strict about how many Funkos you could buy, and they only let me buy one. And so when I came home, I hopped on eBay and I found one for just $23, which was like only and free shipping. So I bought it immediately. At least like I thought maybe it might not be. Maybe they're just pulling my leg or it's going to be a scam. But then it came and it was in perfect condition. And the person was like, "Thanks, I bought this for a friend," but then they didn't want it.
Oh wow!
And so I sent it to Nana, and like now it keeps going up, and it's like that's accidental. That was not on purpose at all.
It's amazing. The deals you can find.
Yeah, we managed to score the Mark Hamill Funkos that were on like Designer Con. All managed to score 2 of those for us for like $40, and they go for like $200 right now. Or we have from that like one of the first Funkos that we collected were actually because of San Diego Comic-Con, because we got a buying slot, and there were 3 that I got, and I will cherish them forever because like they were not necessarily the first Funko ever for me, but they were like the spark, and it was the very limited 1,000 pieces run edition of James Wan. Red Hood and Ola Naturel. So I had the 3 of those, and then it just kind of went downhill from there.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know if you guys can see it because it's literally right here. But I have a Death Star playset from the original Kenner stuff. And
oh my God.
I never thought that I would be able to have one. I had never even seen one in the wild. And there's this guy who owns this little like secondhand shop near us, and he had a bunch of Star Wars stuff, but he's kind of a creepy guy to begin with. And you walk into his shop and he's got like this little Star Wars section. And every time I'd go there, like his prices were ridiculously through the roof. I mean, he's got these plates.
Based on nostalgia.
Oh my gosh. It's all like, he's got like a ton of collector's plates, which are cool, but I've been going there for what, Tiff, like maybe 10 years now. And he still has these plates there. Like, because he can't sell them because he's trying to sell these plates for like $150 to $175 a piece. And I literally bought 2 of them. I bought one for $8 and I bought one for $20, which is the Luke and Yoda on Dagobah. And I bought the Han Solo one for $8. And he's trying to get like $150 for it. And I keep telling him, like, dude, you're never going to get that much money out of this stuff.
To make money off of people who don't know what the hell they're
doing.
See, that's part of what I do with eBay. I look for the people who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like a shitty person to say that, but like when the prices are being hawked up on some things,
this guy, he had frustrated me so many times with overpriced stuff because he's like, well, my mom bought me that. And this guy's like in his 50s. And I'm like, dude, like you got to let that go. It's not about that. Like not everything just that has Star Wars on it is
the price on your mom.
Yeah, it's not a gold mine just because it says Star Wars on it. And so it was funny because I walked in there and he had broken parts of like X-Wings and a Millennium Falcon and was asking like $55, $65 for them. And I'm just like, whatever. And so he had this Millennium Falcon missing all the parts, totally gutted, an old one. And there was this like skinny box underneath of it. And I still to this day, guys, I do not know why I looked in that box, because literally it was on the floor. The Millennium Falcon was on top of it, and something just kind of told me, lift that up and see if there's anything in that box below. And so I lifted it up and I opened the box and I saw the trash compactor. And
so how much did he charge?
So it was orange. So the trash compactor's orange, and he had a little sticker on there that said $8. And I was like, oh, well, that's not bad. I'll buy the trash compactor for $8. My goodness. And it was all there and everything. And it literally has the original foam in it, like from back.
Monster.
You can't touch that stuff without it just absolutely disintegrating in your fingers now. And the little monster from the trash compactor,
right? The tentacle thing
in there, and that can go for like $50 to $75. And so I was like, oh my gosh! And so like I picked this up and I'm like, okay. And I started to walk away, just thinking I was going to buy that. Well, all of a sudden I see there's a giant elevator shaft on the back of that thing, and I saw the elevator shaft, and I looked. I'm like looking through this thing, and I asked the guy, I said, hey, is this a Death Star playset? And he goes, oh, I don't know. Like that, like totally brushed me off, didn't want to talk to me. And I said, well, is it all here? And he goes, I don't know, man. And so I said, well, can I try to see if it's all here and put it together on your counter? And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever, I don't care. And so I pull up the box, I get it out there, I start pulling out these pieces, I get all the pieces laid out. They're dirty, but I start putting the whole thing together, and it was complete, including.
So you're like thinking to myself, you're thinking yourself,
oh my god,
together.
Yeah,
don't freak out, because then
the cardboard slide-in things, the backers and stuff that like have a picture of the outside of the Death Star, and on the inside it's got like the screens with the X-Wings and stuff. I mean, no bends in those at all. I mean, immaculate looking. My problem was, though, I'm sitting there thinking, because that thing can go for like $400 or $500, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this guy, if he's wanting $150 for an $8 plate, good God, how much does he want for this thing? But I had it all together, and I just asked him, I said, hey, so how much do you want for this? And he looks me up and down. He was like so dismissive of me. And he's just like, I don't care, $15.
Oh my God.
I could not grab my wallet fast enough to get that and get out of there, because the guy had been so rude.
You were probably worried he was going to like think about it and then realize you're excited, which means he can raise the price.
Oh yeah. So I was trying to play it really cool. I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And then he also had a complete Dagobah playset.
Oh my God.
With like all the little things that float in the little boxes and the rocks, everything.
Right.
And it was just missing the foam, but I got a replacement for that. And he sold me that for $12. And I was just like, here you go. And I was like totally cool about it. And as soon as I got outside, like I did the dance of joy. I did the dance of joy, and I was like, oh my God, I own a Death Star playset. I can't believe it.
There was someone, and there's one of the Facebook's groups I like to be on is called Weird Secondhand Finds that you just have to share. And so it's like where people will go like a thrift store, they find something that's bizarre, and they'll post about it. And so this one lady went to a thrift store, and she was looking for Star Wars stuff because her son's birthday was coming up. And she found a playset of Jabba's palace that was on display in Toys R Us. So it had that really awesome setup, so that way you could spin it around. And it was not only Jabba's palace, it was the discontinued version that was changed because the top of the palace kind of looked a little bit like a mosque. So Star Wars had to stop producing it. So this was it was already put together. And she was like, so what's this? And everybody, like every Star Wars fan immediately is like, holy shit.
Right.
And commenting. And so she got it for her son. Her son was like maybe my age, like 20 something. She was like, he likes to collect stuff. And so she gets it for him and gives it to him. And that thing goes for like over a couple thousand. And she got it for like $40.
Man. Tiffany and I love doing that, though. I mean, that's like how Tiffany and I love going to antique stores and secondhand stores like that. And you just find the craziest stuff. I mean, and it's funny because that's how well, kind of how I found out that Meg doesn't live too far from us. Wonder
You
Meg.
guys do you go to the same magical secondhand store that she
Yes.
goes to and finds
Yep.
Funkos?
Yes.
That's
That's where I got my Gene Hackman.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's where I was able to find my last pop of Back to the Future.
She
was looking
keeps
you
texting Nana and I, and she'll be like, "Look, I found this in the wild," and we're like, "So is there another?" And she's like, "No." It's
Yeah, no, the other day I was nearly crying because she managed to find Sansa Stark and with the black dress in the wild for like, because she goes for a lot of money right now. And I was like, I really want her. Like, I love Sansa and I really want her, but I just can't find her anywhere. And she found her in mint condition for like the original price. And I'm like, but that said, I was quite lucky myself. I remember we were, was it 2 years ago now? We were in Salem for a trip in Massachusetts, and we were just like sort of browsing the town, and we ended up in this like sort of
comic book store slash
comic book store. It was like in the corner. It was hidden next to a witch store, which was perfect. And I am looking there like for like we were looking through toys, and they had like some really cool stuff like comic book wise and even toys wise. But what caught my attention was Wonder Woman Funko from the first Wonder Woman movie. It was her in the blue dress.
Yes.
And
I have that one.
That Funko, I found it so bizarre because it's so elusive and it's like you can't get it anywhere, but its price isn't necessarily like super high on the Funko app. But in the same time, when you're actually looking for it, you know, to buy it, like you either find it for a reasonable price or you find it super expensive.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't.
She snatched it and was like holding it like, and I was like, "Oh, is there another?" And she goes, "No." And I was like,
So yeah, so she's over there.
when
last night we went grocery shopping, and I have one of my favorite Christmas movies is the Christmas Vacation. So I have the Clark Griswold and the Cousin Eddie pop. And so last night we were grocery shopping, and I said, wait a minute, you know, I'm looking for, you know, some last minute Christmas gifts. And I see this pop of Clark Griswold with the car and the tree. And I'm just like, Enosh, we got to get this. I'm like, it's, I haven't seen this, and I don't know if I'm going to see this again. So we need to get it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's, you know, sometimes you have to really like argue with yourself. Be like, I just bought something else. I shouldn't.
Yep.
Like, I'll never see it again. So.
Well, that you know, that's the thing is like when you find something like that, and that's the bad part. Like Tiffany and I'll have that.
Somebody was asking if we have any Ahsoka.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that. So I think I said this on the Poindexter Lounge, but for the story behind that one was pretty great. We were visiting. It's
signed by Ashley,
the voice actress.
Yeah.
So she does this at every convention. She has her universe booth at. Mm-hmm. You'll sign like maybe 20 pops, and they'll be sold at the booth, and you got, and she'll put out like only a few a day. And so we were at the Hervey Universe booth because that's like a must visit for us. And I was waiting for my next paycheck to come in. I was broke. I did Christmas shopping in July. Bad idea. Anyway, so I was broke as hell. And Nana's buying something, and I look at the counter, and I see Ahsoka Funkos with her signature. I was like poking her. I'm like, Nana, babe. And she's like, what is it? And I explained to her. I gave her a quick rundown to remind her of, because at the time I hadn't introduced her to Ahsoka yet. So I gave her a quick rundown. Ahsoka, that's Anakin Skywalker's Padawan, and she's blah 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 blah. And she signed it, and they were like they were like $30 each. And they
were 20. They weren't 30. They were 20. I still remember that.
Oh my gosh.
And she was like, all right, we'll both get them. And I was like,
oh, I love that.
Oh, yes. That's beautiful.
I love it. Man, you know, carrying that thing home, she acted like she had one of those suitcases with the handcuff.
It's like it's got, look at this, it's got like Batman v Superman on the back of the box.
Oh, that is so cool.
That's so cool. That is so cool. I just love collecting toys. I love the creativity. I love the art of it. It's in physical form, stuff that we
have
made.
my Wonder Woman stuff, but the only Wonder Woman I have Barbie wise is like the one that you get for little kids.
Oh, that's the one from from Walmart.
Yes. And then Enosh has found me some old-fashioned Barbies, like the original Princess Leia.
I used to have a Padme Amidala one, Barbie.
I have 2 of her with the outfits.
I don't know if I still have it somewhere, but because I had one when I was little, and then I didn't realize I didn't know what it was because I wasn't introduced to her yet. And then I got another one for Play 6. I destroyed it when I was little, and I don't know where that went, but it's somewhere, possibly.
Yeah,
I like. Go ahead.
It's like for me, because so I would usually have the cheaper Barbies when I was a kid. I think I had one like Barbie when I was a kid, but then I would always their hair get really tangled, and then I tried to brush them and I would rip their heads off. So that was the end of Barbie for me. So like when I was when we went to Comic-Con, and that was our first Comic-Con, and this one came out, and I was like, I want it. I really want it. So we were buying, you actually had to buy this before the convention, and then you had to pick it up at the convention. So we bought it before, and we went to the con, and then we managed to nearly not pick it up because we were like in the Hall H line for like everything that was happening, which that year it was the Wonder Woman trailer, and it was like everything. And so we didn't want to miss that. But in the same time, we had to go and get, go to the Mattel booth and get the Barbie, and we nearly missed it. So it was like, this was so much hassle. It's totally worth it. I love her.
Thank you, Ryan Rivera, in the chat for bringing that up, because Nana failed to mention anything to me. I always tell her when Zach posts, but she doesn't tell me. So I forget to look.
You checked Vero.
It looks really cool.
It does, yeah.
Have you guys watched the Lego Star Wars Christmas special yet?
We have not.
Me too.
I know. We totally need to get on that, and maybe we'll do that tonight, Tiff.
Maybe we should.
You guys will cry, laugh. Even my dad, he was a bigger fan when he was younger. He doesn't, but he knows enough about Star Wars because of me. Even he was catching for people like you and I, like us, like you're gonna love it. It's so funny. It's definitely not the Christmas special on VHS.
Nice.
We just did a watch party of that special.
I know. I intentionally did not watch.
But you know what? It was funny though.
Theater 3000 style though.
Yeah, we had a panel, and we had fun and laughed, because that to me is the only way to watch that now. Like you can't watch that trying to be serious with it.
Oh no.
Poor Lumpy.
It's just traumatizing.
Poor Lumpy. I love it.
It's Life Day, but it wasn't as cringy.
Oh my god! Well, and it makes no sense, right? Because like you got this whole thing of where like their whole point is to
time travel.
Yeah, it's their whole point is to get Chewie back to Kashyyyk for Life Day, and they have this hard time getting there. But then in the end, what happens? They're all there anyways, and they're somehow up in the sky, up in space, wearing like red robes, and I don't know. It's like they all drink the
Santa Jedi.
What's that?
It's Santa Jedi.
It's just crazy. It really does make no sense. But it's still cool because I love Star Wars, and it's something that as crazy as it is, when it's better if you're with friends, and also maybe if you had a couple of drinks. and you can laugh about it.
So
Wait,
here's
that was a clip? I didn't realize that was a clip.
well, now you know.
That's
That's
awesome.
cool.
Fuck, I'm
I haven't
blind.
seen any of this because of work today.
I haven't seen this either.
Oh,
It's so clean.
Mm. Look at the vents. Oh man.
that is amazing.
And we want me to play it again.
Can you go in the full screen?
If I do, it's not gonna appear, hon.
Okay. I'll teach you how to zoom later.
No, it's not working on Vero.
Yeah.
Like you can zoom on other apps. But
That's
Vero
that's a
is
cool
not.
shot right there. People don't realize, like, because I've shot things and shot short films and stuff like that. Like that shot right there, people don't realize like that when you're shooting that through the barbed wire.
Yeah.
And
Creativity,
the
layers.
creativity of setting up these shots. That I'm sorry, like I don't know. Zach just has such a great eye for things and getting you to just drawing you into that world. And it's stuff like that draws you into that world. It's not just all fluff. It's not just all, here, let me spoon feed you everything. It's
it's not always all CGI, like certain
Yeah.
franchises I could talk about.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, safe to say, I am excited for the remastered BBS. Like,
oh, for sure.
Yes.
a lot.
For
What
sure.
are you showing
Yeah,
us?
you would mention that you had never seen the Superman museum, and so I thought that I would just maybe show you a little bit of kind of what they have there, because they've got so many different props. Like this is stuff from the 50s, and they got statues and all kinds of games, and
I love this.
it's Enosh or Batman versus Enosh there. But you can see there in the background, like they've got like the little
Superman
kiddie
toy.
ride, yeah, and like the pinball machine there. And there's a cool Superman one. But they had like a life-size like Doomsday there and toys.
Child for scale.
Yeah, right? They're just cool. And then they just got like a bunch of like old stuff.
Everything everywhere.
Yeah. They were the whole family was teasing me because they said that it was like, just like walking through our house, because
Well, when you have half of what the museum has.
that's upside down. But
This reminds me the part that I really love when we go to San Diego. You go to the convention floor, and we've been unlucky in getting like a preview night tickets for the past couple of years, which is a shame because preview night is usually least busy on the convention floor.
mm-hmm.
And they would have like in the middle of and the convention floor is massive, mind you. Like it takes a solid hour to cross it on foot, like all the booths and everything. It takes a solid hour to cross. And in the middle, slap in the middle of it, is this area where they showcase the newest toys, like toys that didn't even come out yet.
Sideshow collectibles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like but those are collectibles that are like they make a couple pieces each.
Oh, that mask is creepy.
But they are so gorgeous. And like you just go and you're just at awe at them. But what sucks is like taking picture of them because with the lights and so many people, because there are so many people, like they're all in glass boxes. So taking picture of them really sucks. But they're beautiful. And it's like one of my favorite parts that I just go and and I just like gawk at that.
It's one of those things that look better than in person than they do in the pictures, but you still want a picture to remember it.
Sorry?
No, I said that's kind of like when you want a picture to remember it, but it's also one of those things that it looks better in person than the picture.
Yes,
but
yes.
the picture.
Like, you can't replace the feeling when you actually see it in the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This just as a, man, I don't know, as a getting middle-aged man, I look at some of this stuff and it just, I don't know. It takes me back to my childhood. You know, it takes me back to this. This is Jesse Eisenberg's outfit, and I did not know that his designation number was TK421.
I mean, the guy says it 3 times.
Does he?
Yeah,
Does
he's
he
like,
say? I know it's been a while since I've seen
stand
it.
to your feet. TK421.
That's right. He does. That's right. He does. Now you know what? I remember it now. But like I don't know. When I saw it for some reason, it's been a while since I've watched the whole thing all the way through. But yeah, this is just you got the backpack and everything from Superman the movie and the crystal and and like
whose boots are those?
Those are
Those or Zod's?
This is Nuclear Man's boots.
Oh.
Rest in peace. Yeah. And they're all worn and stuff. Here's the different hair pieces.
Oh my gosh, and they all have the curl.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Marlon Brando's hairpiece. That hairpiece was on Marlon Brando. The Statue of Liberty that they used for the cheesy effects. And the Statue of Liberty goes flying through Metropolis. Oh, this was cool because the glow rod that Jor-El has in the beginning of the movie and stuff on Krypton. Just that'd be a cool standee to have.
So precious.
Yeah, Jimmy Olsen's outfit.
Oh, no. That bow tie.
I know, right?
You realize how tiny these people are when you see, like, that was for them to fly. That was the harness. But just to see the outfits, I'm like, these people were super tiny.
Yes. That's the other amazing thing about that. You can't see this very well, but it's like the boots of like Nan, Ursa, and Zod from Superman 2. But it's in a glass case there.
Speaking of tiny people, I remember because like when you were at it, I remember when it's a couple years back, but I was in a National Museum in Prague, and we went for this exhibition, which probably would not be important to anybody in this room, but it was this exhibition of dresses and costumes from Czech fairy tales going back to like 40s.
Cool.
And because the thing about like our culture is we are super, super invested in our fairy tales. Mm-hmm. And whenever it's Christmas time, about 2 weeks before Christmas, our TVs start running only like fairy tales and Christmas movies, or like movies that are connected to Christmas, which is usually Czech classics. So you would have 2 weeks of these movies that you grew up with, and they're still there. And those movies really are, from all the way from 40s up to the modern day. And the most popular ones are from like 70s, 60s. Like my most favorite fairy tales are from like 1973.
Nice.
But it's just like we love them because, you grew up with it. It's your comfort thing. But also they're great. Like, honestly, like I would never, like, I love our fairy tales. But because of this, obviously, you get to see, when you went to this exhibition, you got to see all these dresses that these princesses wore in these fairy tales that were even black and white. I would watch these black and white fairy tales when I was growing up. And then you have the dress of that princess that you've actually never seen in color. And then you see it. But the biggest shock for me was how tiny those dresses were. It was like, how did a human being ever fit in them?
Yes.
They had on display these 3, it wasn't 3 dresses, it was 3 costumes from a Czech Cinderella. And that one was like from now 1978 or something like that. It was really 70s or so.
That's cool.
And it's fairy tale that was made with the co-production with German. Like it was Czech/German production, and it's actually still really popular in Europe, especially in Norway, apparently. And apparently, based on her wedding dress, the women in Norway still want that wedding dress today. So, like, that's how. And it's I love that one. I actually am gonna force Cole to watch it with me this year. Maybe she's gonna cry like she did the last time I showed her our Christmas movie.
You don't have to force me. I want to watch it.
That's why I like the 10th Kingdom, because it shows all of like the things we grew up with, like brought to life in the new version. ish.
Yeah. And it's like, so I saw these dresses and they're so beautiful and they were so tiny. And mind you, the actor who played her, she's still alive today and she's like very popular and she's like, she's like very admired woman and stuff. And but I have never seen her face to face. So seeing that dress and be like, oh my God, so tiny.
Yes.
So
Yeah, like being Harry Potter fans, we were aware that Daniel Radcliffe is short, but I didn't realize how short he was until I went to I think the first place I ever saw one of his costumes on display was in Times Square. They had the traveling Harry Potter exhibition, and I went with my family, and I was standing in front of the mannequin with his costume, and I remember asking the person, "Is this his real height?" Because he was my height, and I was like, "I'm short." And then they had Hagrid's chair, his armchair from his hut, and my mom, of course, told me to hop into it so she could take a picture, even though we weren't technically supposed to do that. But so I did, and my feet were barely able to reach the end of the chair. It was so big.
That's funny.
Yeah, I tell you what, this museum here, they literally just have something from every Superman, Supergirl project. I mean, props from like this. They have a whole Supergirl section here where it's like props from that movie.
Section. They had all different kinds of stuff.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to show that after. Hang on. Go on.
Oh yeah. But yeah, they got the little flying props that they use, for the little miniatures and everything that go flying by, and they had this cool Marilyn Monroe Supergirl, which is kind of cool.
It was cool.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
There's my my pretty lady right there.
Pretty.
I even have your guitar next to me because
this is my favorite. This one's my favorite.
I forgot about that.
Tiff wore it better.
But even that was super tiny. That costume.
Yeah, it is amazing anytime you see like some of this stuff and you just go, wow, like these people really are tiny. They really do make people look much bigger on screen. I mean, we'll look at like say Tom Cruise, for example. I mean, Tom Cruise is actually very, very tiny, and
they make fun of that on Family Guy too. That he's the same size as Stewie.
Yeah. I got in on the act here, but yeah, they had.
That was stuff from Lois and Clark.
Yes, it is.
I grew up on that show. That show is what made me want to be a writer.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice. Have you guys seen? I got it somewhere around here. I just saw it the other day. Like apparently, Dean Cain and Brandon Routh were on the same flight together.
No, that sounds so
and there's
cute.
a picture. There's a picture of them. Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. Whoops.
Barbie showing underboob.
Yeah, Barbie showing underboob there. But yeah, they're on the same plane together. Like they're just kind of like it's like I think I would feel really safe on that flight.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I tell you what,
I love when different actors who played the same person like run into each other and they treat it like it's like a fraternity, a brotherhood, a brother or sisterhood or whatever, a siblinghood.
Like when Christian Bale and Ben Affleck both had their kids and they were buying Batman costumes.
Yes, in the Halloween store. I know that.
I love that.
What is wrong with me? I know too much. You ever realize you have way too much knowledge, like obscure knowledge about something, and you're just like, what is wrong?
That's Ina.
Yep. But I tell you what, if you ever get the chance, guys, anyone out there watching this, Metropolis, Illinois, it's almost at the southern tip of Illinois, right over the border from was it Kentucky? Was it Paducah that we stayed in? Yeah, we stayed in Paducah. And
something funny about the word Paducah.
I know.
Yeah, it is.
But I tell you what, they were super nice in Paducah to us. Probably the nicest place that we stayed on that road trip. And but yeah, they've just got all kinds of like costumes. You could just spend hours in this place. And
I love this.
right?
Everywhere we travel to, like even if we don't know anything off the top of our head, Nana and I will like Google to make sure there's nothing nerdy nearby that we could miss out on.
Yes, that's exactly how we are. I tell you what, you just look up a comic book store or a toy store or something like that, and it's an amazing place you can find.
Oh, this is epic. That's Alex Ross.
And then shortly we'll be able to go and see the brick with Zack Snyder's name on it.
That's right. Yep. And people will be able to go outside and see the brick. Whoops.
So this is the Cinderella in her wedding dress.
Oh, that is so pretty.
Oh, wow.
You can even tell in the picture she's tiny.
Oh, she's super tiny.
But like the dress gives her this illusion of being like having more meat on her bones, but
because of the fluff.
Yeah.
And I like what I like about this one is that it's a bit different than to like what you used to, because so this goes with the story with her goes it's not, there is no fairy godmother and there is no like midnight deadline and stuff like that. There is still obviously the shoe, the whole shoe plot point, which you can see that he's putting shoe on her foot, but basically what it is, she finds, or in this version she's given 3 tiny nuts that fell off the tree, and in those nuts, like if she cracks them, there is the dress, but it's not necessarily a dress. The first version, the first thing that she gets is actually a hunting gear, and she goes out and she has a competition. Well, she's not invited, but she invites herself, which is another thing. I love it absolutely that Cinderella in this version is absolute badass and doesn't give a fuck. She just invites herself on this shooting competition of local nobility and wins it.
That's awesome.
She just wins it straight away. She's just like whatever.
That's
and then
awesome.
The next nut that has ball gown. And so she goes to this ball at the castle, and she has this sort of, it's not a mask, but it's like a veil over her face, so nobody can recognize her, because obviously her mother and her stepmother and stepsister are in there. So she goes in there and she aves, like she just like everybody's completely crazy for her because the dress is beautiful, she's beautiful and whatnot. So the prince, this guy, he starts dancing with her, and you would expect like her to be in awe of him and like fall in love with him and all that stuff, and but no, he's just all like arrogant. He's like, I just chose my bride, and she goes, and what makes you think I want you? and then she gives him what's it called, a riddle, which basically the riddle is like he has to guess who she is. Because he met her, this is the 3rd time they're meeting. First, he met her when she was all dirty and stuff, running in the woods, and she stole his horse. Second, he met her when she won the hunting competition, and now he met her at the ball, but he doesn't know it's the same girl. And so she just gives him this riddle, and she always says, this is this girl, but she's not a princess, and who is she? And he can't figure it out, so she just bails on him. She just like walks away, and that's where she leaves the shoe behind, and he starts searching for her everywhere because he just like really, really wants her. And I love that about it because she's just so sassy. And then he gets here and he's putting the and he wants to put the shoe on her foot, and she goes, but do you know the answer to my riddle? Like, I am here in my wedding dress, but you're not getting any of that stuff unless you know the answer to my riddle. Okay.
Now I want to see this version.
It's amazing. I can send you a link after if you want. There is a good
Isn't that a great photo?
Oh my god, they're
That
so
is awesome.
cute.
I would flip out if I was on that flight right there, man. And we've met both of these guys, and
We have both of them just not together.
Yeah.
Katina.
Even though Dean Cain has turned out to be a horrible person, apparently, I would still want to meet him.
He was the nicest person. Both of them were.
I tell you what, so far we've met Brandon, we've met Dean, we've met Tom Welling, And some of the other cast, we met like the guy who played young Clark Kent. Was it Jeff East, and then Aaron Smolinski, who was the baby in Superman the movie, who came up out of the hole naked.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Imagine being that kid, man.
Yeah,
like,
imagine that being your legacy.
Yeah, right. But no, he actually is friends with Henry Cavill. He was in Man of Steel. He plays one of the soldiers in Man of Steel, so he's still an actor and super nice guy. And I gotta say,
naked too.
That's something I love about, that's something that I love with DC directors, whether it's on TV or in the cinema, how like they'll pull up actors who are still willing to come into the universe. Yes. Like with Zach, he brought in the original Jimmy Olsen. Yes. Or if you watch the CW on Crisis of Infinite Earths, they had like Tom Welling. They had the original Robin from the
Burt Ward,
show. They had Brandon, of course, because he plays both as Superman, but is also a CW character. And like they brought it, and Kevin Conroy, and it was, and that's something I've only ever seen DC do. It's like they really appreciate where they came from.
Yes.
Well, and that's cool because that's a huge extension actually of the Superman brand, because the Superman, like people who've been in Superman, like if you watch Smallville, all like Brandon Routh wasn't in it, because Brandon Routh was whatever. But the thing is like Smallville literally brought in almost like every major player who was ever, I mean, Margot Kidder was on there, Christopher Reeve was on there, Dean Cain was on there, Terry Hatcher was on there.
Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher were on Supergirl.
Yes.
I love her. When I went, so Dean Cain, I suspected would be easy to get back onto back into DC, but then when they announced, like I think it was the second or third season that they had Terry Hatcher, and I screamed. And they made her a super powered queen. I was like, I love you.
Yeah, bringing back the Mohawk brought up a good point too, because like even in Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, the one guy who when Superman and Lois are aboard Zod's ship, and there's the one henchman of Zod's who's like got in there on the table and everything, and he's kind of like overseeing him. That guy played a clone of Lex Luthor on Smallville.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's awesome.
That's literally that's this one aspect that I just love with DC so much.
It all ties together.
I mean, like exactly, and it also with like what they did with Crisis on Infinite Earths last year. That's the crossover special, and how they brought in as many people as they could, and they didn't like skip anyone. They literally like even if they couldn't play their character from there, like with like my words. One of my favorite was was Bert from Robin, and he goes, "Holy!" He did one of his iconic lines, but for the system, like "Holy fireballs in the sky of death."
Yeah.
And his outfit was color coordinated to look like his Robin outfit, and it was like.
I know it's those geek out moments. But I'll tell you what, everybody that we've seen who's ever played, like the character of Superman or Clark or whatever that we've met, they all get it. Like they all understand the seriousness of it. And I mean, Brandon was absolutely just amazing.
Brandon seems like the fluffiest, sweetest person ever.
Yep.
He was giving us hugs, and he was also like, it's funny to see the person that you want to meet thinking, are they going to be like this in real life? Because I love him as Adam. He's super nerdy.
I prefer him as Adam.
Oh, yeah.
I respect him as a former Superman.
Yeah, exactly. But I did like him as Kingdom Come Superman. I think he kind of felt like it redeemed himself, and he even said that too.
He finally got it. Like he understood the character. I think he needed to go through like his own hero's journey to understand Superman a little bit.
Well, it's interesting because we were at his panel, and I'll tell you what, like he didn't throw anybody under the bus, so to speak, but that production of Superman Returns, like you could tell, like when Brandon was talking about his experience as Superman, that like he took that so serious. Like he wanted to be, he wanted.
Like, he's always understood the character, but he could never really translate what he wanted to bring to it.
Yeah, and they didn't give him much to work with either. Yeah. So
and then when he came onto CW for that brief Kingdom Come, it was like suddenly he had learned like as an actor, he had gained these talents that let him translate what he always wanted to portray Superman as, and he finally got that chance. And I think CW might have given it because he's been Ray Palmer for so long. They already knew he was a perfect actor for DC. They probably gave him a lot of latitude to do what he wants.
Because he had it in the palmer of his hands.
But I love him as Ray Palmer. Like seriously, like I've always liked that character because he's always come off dorky. But like then he played him, I was like, oh my god, this is literally flawless.
But then he plays Adam though. Like when he actually has the suit on and he's doing, what he has to. He's like, it's cool to kind of see both sides.
Yeah.
But then Dean Cain, I tell you what, Dean Cain was super nice to our family. He was super great with my kids. Oh my gosh, because it was right before Batman v Superman came out, and Logan was wearing a Batman shirt, and Landon was wearing a Superman shirt, and Landon's middle name is Jor-El. So they go up there and they're talking to him and everything. And honestly, the kids had never watched
the new Adventures.
And Clark. Yeah. And still, because we're finishing up Smallville, 10 years of Smallville right now. And then the next thing we're all going to watch together is the 4 seasons of New Adventures of Superman. So they've never even really seen much of Dean Cain as Superman, but they knew he was Superman. And so they, that's a big deal. And so they go up there and it was amazing because the lady, and I don't know if I shared this with you guys before, but the lady who was like his wrangler, at the time, from the con, not his personal, but from the con, was like we went up there and there were 5 of us. And so you could take a picture. And I think it was like $45 or $40 or something like that to be able to take your own picture. Right. And so I was like, okay. And then we wanted that because that's an experience that we love to have at all the Comic Cons that we go to. We got a wall of pictures in our hallway out here of different people that we
they just gouge the prices at different cons.
But, I know, but
but then you still want it.
Yeah. And
it's so weird.
Yeah, and so we don't do like autographs or anything like that. We're just like, hey, it's us with that person, right? And so, so we went, and she's like, okay, it'll be it was like $35 or $40, and I'm like, okay, so we gave her the money, and then she goes, oh, wait a second, who's all going to be in the picture? And we said, well, all of us, we're a family, like really? And she goes, well, you can only have. She's like, you can only have 3 people in the photo. And I said, I looked at her and I'm like, well, there are 5 of us. She goes, well, if you have more than 3 people, you have to pay for another photo. And I'm like, you want me to pay $80 to $90 for a snapshot on my own phone just because I have 2 extra people? Like, it's not like those people are costing them extra valuable space.
And also like children that you should keep an eye on.
I was totally in shock, but our boys, testament to their heart, because they looked at me and Tiff and they said, Mom, Dad, you guys, this was a Superman that you guys grew up with. You guys go ahead and get the photo with him and we'll just go meet him. And I was like, are you guys sure? And they're like, yes, absolutely. They're like, you guys go get the photo. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So we go up there and like, Dean immediately gravitated towards the kids and was like asking them their names and stuff. And Landon's like, because Landon, he ever since he's been young, he's been proud of the fact that his middle name is Jor-El. And so Landon's like, my name's Landon and my middle name's Jor-El. And Dean was like, oh, that's super cool. And then he saw Logan's Batman shirt and he goes, so you're Batman. He's like, so I guess you and I got to fight according to the new movie that's coming out. And he goes, and then you're my dad. And so like he just had this interaction with them.
It was so cute.
And it was so cute. And then Isaac, I think, was wearing a Flash shirt or something that day. Reverse Flash shirt that day. And so like he's talking to them, like he had this whole moment. And then he talked with Tiff and had this whole interaction with Tiff. And then he looked at me and he's like, hey, he's like, hey, Dad, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm good. And I got to share with him my love of Superman and stuff. And he just kind of welled up a little bit. And we all had this moment.
About 10 minutes with us.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden he looks at it, he goes, well, awesome. He's like, thank you guys so much for being here. He says, can we, are we taking a picture? What are we doing? And we're like, yeah, we're taking a picture. So he's like, well, come on back here. And so Tiffany and I go back behind the thing with him, and he looks and he saw that the kids weren't moving, that the kids were staying out, in front of the table. And Dean looks at us and he goes, well, isn't everybody going to be in the photo? and we looked at him and we said, well, we wanted to, but the lady here said that you could only have 3. And so, the
Not
boys
trying to tattle, but
yeah. And Dean, like it wasn't like he went and yelled at the girl, but he stopped and he said, hold on just 1 second. And he walked over to the lady who was there, who had been working for the con. And he said to her, he says, don't ever do that again. And he said, boys, he said, let's all get in here and take photos. And not only did he just take like a couple shots, like we have shots with him, like being silly and doing crazy stuff. And I've got that S tattoo right here on my arm, from the famous thing. And so like I'm pulling up my shirt like that, and he's pointing at my tattoo, and we're like posing together and stuff. And it was so funny because right after that, right next to him was John Schneider, who played Pa Kent on Smallville.
Oh my God.
And so here's
also in Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah. And so here's the weird thing about that is I was so looking forward to meeting him, because as a kid, I was such a Dukes of Hazzard fan, and obviously Smallville and stuff like that. And we walk over there, and he had stepped away for a minute, and there was nobody waiting. We just had this awesome experience with Dean, and the guy who's sitting there waiting, kind of minding the store there, is talking to us, and he's like, hey, so you're here to meet John? And we're like, yeah. And and he's like, are you a Dukes fan or a Smallville fan? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, okay. He's like, cool. He's like, well, can we get a picture or whatever, for you? And so like they had a picture there that had both John and Tom Welling on it. And so I figured I'll get that, and I'll get the
Tom
autograph.
Welling minding the store, wasn't it?
No.
Okay.
No, but they had a photo there of both John Schneider and Tom Welling together. And so I figured if I get that photo, then I can get John Schneider to sign it. And then if I ever get to meet Tom Welling, which I did 2 years later, I can have him sign that. Right. Yep. And so we're waiting for John, because John was off somewhere else doing something, like he was taking a break. And so we're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And in the time we're waiting, this guy starts talking to us, and he's like, yeah, it's like, that's cool that you're waiting stuff. John should be here any minute. He's like, but let me ask you, did you guys have a chance for example, to meet Dean Cain? And we're like, yeah, we did. He's like, what did you think of Dean? And we're like, oh, he was so cool. He was really great. And we're telling him the story. He's like, I know, isn't Dean great? This guy's telling us, he's like, isn't Dean awesome? Like, Dean is the most awesome guy to work with. Like, he's involved in all these things, and he's acting again. He's doing stuff and everything. And the guy's like going off gushing about Dean Cain. And come to find out, he was both the manager for John Schneider and Dean Cain. And he's like gushing about Dean Cain, and like because we're standing there waiting for John, and we're like, yeah, but like, I love John and this. And he's like, yeah, John's cool. And we're like, well, what's John working on right now? And he's like, he's on some soap opera, but Dean is like doing this other thing. And we're just laughing our butts off, because it was so funny, because he was like so much about Dean Cain. And then when John came, like we got a photo with John and stuff, but John was kind of in a hurry. I don't know if there was something going on with him, but he was kind of in a hurry and was just kind of like, we had just spent all this time with Dean, and there was literally nobody waiting for John. And John's just like, so we're going to take a picture. What are we doing?
It was like, next, please. And that's the thing that happened with LeVar Burton. It's like, I wanted to talk to him about Star Trek and reading Rainbow, and it was just like, next. And I'm like,
yeah.
I haven't had that experience yet, but like, ugh.
I know it.
That for me is like always the thing that I'm really hesitant about. And I think that, like, in a way, San Diego Comic-Con ruined me on that front, because like, I have been to conventions before, but most of them were like fans for like fan-made conventions back in Czech Republic, which only recently, like literally last year, was the first year they had a proper Comic-Con. And and that was a bit different, because I was also a panelist. Like, I was heavily involved in that fan convention scene back in Czech Republic in that sense. So it wasn't necessarily the regular convention for me. And then I went to Motor City Comic Con once, and I wasn't sure what I'm doing, actually. And the best experience I had from that was because I was with the kid. So like, I took the kid that I was taking care of. And it was funny, because she was like, oh, I want to dress up as Catwoman, because she had this like whole thing with Anne Hathaway Catwoman at the time, because I was heavily trying to involve the girls with the comic books. So that's where it went, Nolan trilogy, it started on that. So I painted her like a mask, because we couldn't afford it and stuff. And I went as Black Canary, actually, from Arrow. So we went on this panel, which was like a sketch off between artists.
Oh, nice.
And one of the artists was Chrissy Zullo. And the little one, she like raised her hand because at the beginning they asked what should we draw. She was like, Catwoman. So Chrissy chose to actually draw Catwoman. And then at the end of the panel, because the little one was the one who suggested it, she actually gave her the sketch, signed it for her, which was absolutely amazing experience for me. And so this little one, you know, who's just trying to be interested in comics gets this sketch. And then she was like, we have to go say hi. We have to go say hi. So we went to her booth. And that's where Chrissy was like, she remembered her. And not only she gave her the sketch, she also gave her an actual print of Gotham City Sirens.
Aww.
And everything. So obviously, you know, this girl like is set, like, you know, this is gonna be love for life. Like, this is just how it's gonna be, right? So I was so happy about it. And I did have like one autograph / photo shoot, like photo op with Katrina Law. But I didn't really, it wasn't like that exciting to me, because I am more of a person who likes to speak to these people, and in these events you don't usually get that chance that much. And then we went to San Diego, and that's just so different because it's not based on autographs and photo ops. Like, they don't do that there. Like, you have some, you know, signing options. We've done it with Cole, with one of our favorite book authors. We met Sarah J. Maas that way, and then nearly got kicked out because we talked to her too much, which happened to be only because it was her fault. Yes, because somehow she discovered that Cole is shipping Raylo, and they were like going on a Raylo ship, and we were first in line. So you have this girl, you know, this random girl, there's a line behind us, and Cole, the rando, is talking to Sarah J. Maas about Raylo.
Well, because she saw the because I had a sticker like this, and I was taking a picture of Nana with her, and she goes, "Oh my God, is that a Kylo Ren sticker?" And I was like, "Uh-huh." Like, I was starstruck because she's one of my favorite writers, and we start talking about how much we love how complex the character of Kylo Ren is, and like how we love Rey and Kylo together. We talk about her books and everything, and like we were on this Star Wars fangirling rant for like 5 minutes, and the people behind us were like, "Come on, move along."
It was just so funny. But like for me with San Diego, just the experience is different because you don't really go and dump a lot of money into, you know, 5-second meeting of the person. You are much more likely to just find them in the wild, so to speak, and actually get a chance to talk to them. And I think like that for me was the charm of San Diego, that it wasn't, you know, it, like when we went there, it's like you paid money for the ticket and you get certain things in the ticket. And then once you're inside, in order to actually enjoy the convention, you do not have to pay anything extra. And I enjoyed that so much.
This actually, now that you mention it, the autograph with Sarah was free, which
it's all included.
Was weird for me, because then I went to another con and you had to pay for it, and I was like, what? But it's my book.
They don't like when you have autographs and photo ops. There are not many of them, but if you do have them within the convention schedule, you have to line up. Obviously, you have to make it through the certain cutoff of people that will let you in. I think that with certain really popular people, they just moved it online at this point, because I know that we were signing online for like Jim Lee signing and stuff like that. But yeah, basically, as long as you get in or you get selected in this online lottery, it's within your ticket. You don't pay for it.
That's cool.
See,
You pay for your ticket. That's it.
It was really funny, actually, because when we were on the queue for Sarah J. Maas, so when the signing hall, it's like this big open air area. And like for smaller creators, like authors and whatnot, that aren't like, you know, like I don't know, like the person who does like Hunger Games or whatnot, you know, if you haven't been made into a movie yet, then they don't have you closed off with curtains. And I look over and I see this really beautiful lady in a hijab, and I'm just kind of looking at her for a second. And then I said to Nana, I'll be right back, because I had a feeling I knew who it was, but I didn't want to like get too excited. So I kind of wandered over and I saw that it was one of the Gigi Wilson, who does the drawing for Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan. I'm a huge fan of that books. And so I ran back to Nana and I was like, I need to ask her to sign something. I don't know what. Because there was no line. Everybody was gone. She was actually getting ready to leave. And so I dug out like my program. And then I went over to her and I was like, hi, I know you're done, but could you say, I really love your work.
You get these really cool, like, and that's another thing, like they give you this I don't know what it's called, but it's like a guide. It's like a massive book,
it's
and
a
it's full of art.
It's like kind of like a yearbook for.
Let me show you the latest one.
It's a lot like
that one was for the 50th anniversary of San Diego Comic-Con, and Jim Lee did massive double cover for it. Let me dig it up. Hold on.
Hey Tiff.
Yeah,
Tiff,
it's kind of like the yearbook from a high school where it has all the events listed, but it's pop culture-y.
Yeah,
That's very cool.
Tiff, why don't you tell them real quick the story of when we met John Wesley Shipp?
Oh, he's so sweet.
Yeah, tell them about that.
Very cool, because we had met John Wesley Shipp, and it was one of those situations where no one was in line, and we just happened to be there when no one was in line. So we got like 10, 15 minutes with him. And so this is when the first season of The Flash was just about to end. And all of a sudden we're standing there, and we're literally there at Comic-Con on Sunday, and Flash is supposed to go, I think, Monday or Tuesday, the next day. And he starts talking to us about the scene at the end of that season. And he goes, well, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Do you want spoilers? And I'm like, dude, John Wesley Shipp is going to give me spoilers on the first season? Yes, please. Tell me everything. And he starts going on about this scene where Barry is with his mom. And it's when she gets hurt and he's passing, and you see, Grant Gustin just bawling his eyes out. And
right.
And
I know the scene.
Yeah, and so he's sitting there with his mom. He's knocked out on the ground. So he's like, I'm sitting here like this. I'm trying to be quiet, bawling my eyes out, but I have to be quiet. He goes, you can hear a pin drop. And he's tearing up telling us this. And he's like, okay, you guys ready for the picture? And I'm like, you just
I need a minute.
And then we watch it 2 days later, and me and Enosh are bawling our eyes out. And the kids are like, he told you what was going to happen. I'm like, I know, but now I know what's happening behind the scenes, because he told us. It's just like same thing with Robin Lord Taylor for Gotham.
Oh my God, I love him so much.
And same thing. His handler's like, come on, there's people in line. And he's like, I'm talking to these fans right now. And he gave us like 10, 15 minutes. And I'm like, but I always like to go prepared and have information and have questions. And
yeah,
I almost never have questions.
I love it.
See, I have them in theory.
This is the cover.
Oh, that is so cool.
I have questions in theory, but then I forget.
So you get, and it's like this thick. So, and then like you get them like for every year. So we have one that's like with Wonder Woman. That was the first one that we went to. Then there's like one with really nice Marvel print from 2018. This is 2019, and it's it's a Jim Lee art, and it was for the 50th anniversary. And what's cool about this is that you can have it signed by people. So like if you meet someone, you can get this signed.
Kind of like Disney has those autograph books. You have a section you can use for Comic-Con. That's a really good idea.
And it's just really it's really cool. And like, I mean, I love this particular one because it also has like a whole history of Comic-Con.
That's cool.
Like it's got all the years in there and what happened. So like we were able to go look.
Meeting Jim Lee is such a pleasure. If you ever get a chance to do so, you should. He's so sweet.
So like this was our first one, and this was the cover for the first one.
Oh, that's cool.
The white one. So that one that we have.
That one was done by Babs Tarr. She's the new artist of Batgirl. She does Batgirl of Burnside.
Then this was for 2017. We have that one as well. And then this one, I actually have it next to my laptop, but I have a bunch of crap on it, so I don't want to like pull it. But that was this one. Hang on.
Oh, that's cool.
That was for the end game.
That's very cool.
It's like the bottom one is the design for the shirt, and the top one is what was on the book.
The
Oh,
shirts
that's
have been
cool.
really so every year they do a Comic-Con shirt that's got a different DC. The last few years it's been DC women, and they've had some really cool designs. Wonder Woman, Batgirl, Punchline.
So again, this is the
nice.
Wonder Woman, the black
Love
logo.
that.
That's what.
Yeah.
Then hang on.
Yeah, we ended up. We
This
didn't-
is the Bad Girl.
Oh, that's cool.
That one was from 2017, and then 2018 was the Catwoman.
Oh, that's cute.
Nice.
And then last year was Punchline, which was still very pretty, even though I don't know much about
I
her yet.
don't remember what was with this one though.
What do you mean, love?
With this particular one, do you remember what shirt we had with that? Because that was a different one too. We have Wonder Woman, we have Catwoman, Batgirl, Punchline, and we have one more because we had 5. So
I'll remember randomly in the middle of the night.
there was another.
She'll be on Twitter and she'll be like, "Here's the answer."
Yeah, but yeah, no. So like we always get a shirt and we always get these. And then like when they send you a badge, they send it to you in like a fancy box with a pin and everything. It's so cute.
That's awesome. I want to do a San Diego Comic-Con, and me and Inash have always said, because we always, pay for the kids to go and take them to Comic-Con and meet people and get toys, and it's like this huge thing we have to budget for. And so I said, when the kids are older and, they can either come with and pay their own way, or it's just something, that we do as a couple, but we want to make that San Diego Comic-Con Mecca thing kind of.
You really do. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The only problem with it is how hard it is going to probably be for you guys to get tickets for the whole family.
Yeah, that's true. Now,
because the way the system works,
like
it's a lottery. So you have to sign up for so-called member ID. And so this is for everybody who is in the chat. If you guys are ever interested, you have to sign up for so-called member ID. Once you do, you have to actually do it before a deadline, which they actually never tell you what the deadline is. So what they always suggest, sign up immediately as you learn about it. So you sign up for your member ID, and then at one point, whenever the pre-sale is going to happen, they usually give you a 10-day warning. They will not give you more than that. And you get an email that says, so in those 10 days, it's going to happen. It usually takes place on Saturday at like 9 a.m. PST. And basically what it is if you have the member ID, you get a unique code, which you can only open once in one browser. You cannot open it multiple times, just once.
Oh, wow.
And you get one of those codes per ID. And you use that code to get into so-called waiting room, which then has... It's got this like yellow bar that tells you like a status and a progress of the sale. And then it has like a spinning blue circle that tells you that it's refreshing.
Oh boy.
Because you're not allowed to refresh. You're just basically staring into the screen, super nervous that like if it's going to happen or not. You're not allowed to do anything, unless...
It sounds like Rise of the Resistance in Disney.
It's very like... It's very stressful, let's put it that way. And then you don't know what number you are in line. It doesn't matter when you log on. You have between 8 and 9 PST to log on. It doesn't matter when you log on because it's not going by who was the fastest. And then the moment 9 PST hits, what it does is that it takes all these people, and they always explain it like a bowl of Cheerios. So they take all these people and they throw them in the bowl like Cheerios. And then you have to hope that you will be on the spoon that pulls you out and throws you on the checkout.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's why you got to do buying groups.
Yeah, we do buying groups. That was like the only way that we succeeded. And we were succeeding for 5 years. We succeeded nearly at 100%. It was only last year, the Comic-Con that didn't happen, where we failed to get one day for one group of 3 people. But we were buying in like 30 people. That's how we were doing it. That's how you bypass it. Because, well, you don't bypass it. It's still up to luck. Like you can still completely miss out. Because... So basically then what happens is if you do get through checkout, you have 3 slots You don't get more. You get 3 slots that you can buy tickets for. And all of these 3 people have to have member IDs, unless they're kids under the age of 12. So you can buy for these people, you check out, obviously, and that's it. Like, you don't get any other shot. That's it. You get 1 shot. You have to hope you get through to get enough the days that you want to get, and that's it. That's just how it is. Now, if you were there a year prior, you get the advantage that you get to do 2 sales. You get to do open registration for everybody, and then you do returning registration, which is only for people who were the year before.
Dang.
Which
That's
makes it
worse than Disney.
significantly easier, not guaranteed, but significantly easier to get in. Because what we calculated over the years, if you manage to get through the first sale into the returning registration, which usually occurs before open registration, you have approximately 50% chance during the returning registration that you're going to get in. Your chance to get in for all 5 days of Comic-Con during the open registration is less than 1%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is if we go, we have to go with you guys because you guys know.
Hey, we'll take you in. We don't mind. We'll take you in. But yeah, it's always,
I'm in.
I promise I'll wear a onesie.
It's always super, super stressful in the sense that you just have this group, and like we had a group, like big group of people, and thankfully, they were great people, and it worked out for us multiple years in a row. But like our first year was luck because we went only the 2 of us. We didn't have a buying group. And somehow my
We
code
didn't even expect
through.
to get in. We
We
literally
didn't
did not.
expect it, but somehow my code went through the moment it sorted and we got our tickets. We couldn't believe our luck. It was insane. And then like 3 years in a row, it was my code that always went through the moment that we entered the sale.
There's no mechanics with it. Like we
And
thought.
then last 2 years, my code
Marine.
never went through. It's just there is no we started thinking that can't be a coincidence. Maybe it's something in my name when they assign the code that just the system sort of throws it in because it's so unique. But it's not, because the last 2 years I went completely empty-handed, and it was somebody else who had to get it.
Man.
So you can never know. Like they can be a chance that you guys go in your group of 5 and you score tickets for everybody, and you will not need a buying group, or there is a chance that you will not score a single ticket. It's just what it is. It's completely insane in that sense.
That's the kind of stress that we had for my 40th when Enosh took me to Disney, when we had to do Rise of the Resistance, and we showed up early. We talked to people to find out where the best internet connection was. Now you could refresh for that one, like you're sitting there refreshing, but then it's like the stress of we made this trip here to specifically go on Rise of the Resistance. It's for my birthday, and we're sitting here, and it's like everyone's refreshing right at that 7 o'clock mark. Screaming around you that they made it in, and we're like, come on.
That was me with PS5 too. I mean, I honestly, I learned to appreciate the Comic-Con system after I was trying to purchase my new PlayStation. Genuinely. Because what it does is it does prevent bots. It does prevent all these things, because it's just like that, and it doesn't overwhelm the system. And like what they say, there is approximately 60,000 tickets up for grabs during the open registration. There is over.
That's why it threw us off, honey, because that was the year they did Batman instead of a girl.
Oh, right, yeah. Because it was Batman's 80th. That's why they did it.
Sorry, I was bothering me. I couldn't remember.
That's what happens to me too. I'm like, who was in that movie? IMDb. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, no, but so it's like, what was I saying? I completely lost my trail.
Well, you were talking about the system to get in and bots and how it blocks people out.
Yeah,
so 60,000 tickets available.
Yeah, so you got 60,000 tickets, and the people who sign in, according to latest data, which was in like 2014, it was over 1 million people. So it's probably more.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just so when you let that sink in and then you think about it, and it's like the way that you can purchase tickets is that you can, like, there is 5 days. You can only see preview night on Wednesday if you go on all previous 4 days. So you have to buy all 5 days if you want to be there for the preview night. So preview night goes within first 5 minutes. And then you got the 4 days. Those go really fast. And then Saturday and Friday are, the next ones to go, because Saturday is the big day in the Hall H with the big studios. And then Friday is another big day in Hall H, which is with TV shows. And then Thursday and Sunday are kind of left behind, sort of. But that's what sucks about it for a lot of people, because a lot of people maybe get through the system and get to the purchase, and then they have only Thursday and Sunday left. So they have 2 days in between, and they're like, well, I don't want to do this. But what we usually tell people is, don't give up on that. Grab it, because there is hundreds, and I mean hundreds of off-site events on San Diego Comic-Con. That's no other Comic-Con does this. And you can attend these without a badge. You can just go to them. And their activations, they're super cool things, like, all kinds of stuff. Like Adult Swim does the entire, like, they have like entire lawn.
Oh, nice.
It's just they have a lot of things that are super cool, so people can have fun during those 2 days without going inside the convention center. Obviously, people do want to go inside convention center, but you can do it. And then what is the advantage of that is, if you go like this, then the next year you have the pre-registration as well. So you can try, and you have a bigger chance of scoring the tickets for more days.
I think what stressed me out about because buying stuff or being able to purchase, stuff like that is like, I get that, because I'm all for them fighting like the bot system, where it's like, you get shut out of stuff, and then all of a sudden the only way you can get it is on the aftermarket, where it's just marked up ridiculously high. Rise of the Resistance stressed me out, because like you already have your ticket, you're already there in the park, and now you have to wait to get on a boarding group to what's up, Thomas?
Hello.
You got to wait to get in a boarding group, and it's like you have to be, there were all these rules, and I have a friend who got so pissed off because he took his family. He was down in Florida, and they had a ticket to go any day of the week to Hollywood Studios.
Right.
And instead of doing his homework first and realizing that like you can't just walk into stuff.
Good night, Max.
Good night. That you can't just walk into stuff. He shows up on a Wednesday afternoon at 12 p.m., so like right after noon, and thought that they were going to get on Rise of the Resistance and go build a lightsaber. And I'm like, I looked at him and I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? Like, that's not how this stuff works nowadays. You have to do your homework. I'm like, did you do any homework at all? He's like, well, no, we were down in Florida visiting family, and so we just did it. I'm like, dude, that is something you got to plan. When I decided to surprise Tiffany for this, I was shocked that I planned this thing less than 30 days out, and in that time, I got all of our tickets for everything. We went to both Disney and we went to Universal. We went to Hollywood Studios. I got us into build a lightsaber. I got us, we actually had a reservation to the cantina, but decided not to go just because once we got there, we realized it's really not that big of a deal. You know what I mean?
Do we wait for time, or do we want to see more things?
Well, and that was the thing. So we decided to just go do more things instead of just sit in a.
We got blue milk instead, like a blue milk slushy.
Yeah. So and we just went and saw more stuff instead of sitting in a restaurant for an hour and a half. Wasting part of our day, since we were only there for one day. But the thing is like I told him, I said, man, I said it only makes sense that you have to plan out your trip and say, okay, at this time we're going to build our lightsaber. And I said, I like it that way because I don't have to wait in a line for 4 or 5 hours to go build a lightsaber. I put in my thing. We know, and we planned it great too. We had it planned so great because the park closed at 8 and our lightsaber build was at 8:30. So we got full day and everything. And then at 8 o'clock, we were able to show up at what was that place called?
At the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the sun had gone down, and then
it was closed. It was just us.
Yep, it was just us in our group. Just us in our group. We went and built our lightsaber. It came out, and the park was empty, and we got to walk out of the park with our lightsaber, so we didn't have to hold it around all day and stuff.
All of us adults are walking out of Disney. Lightsabers ignited. People are fighting lightsaber fights as we're walking out of Disney's
Okay,
park.
so note to self. That's when we want to try to go.
Yeah,
Oh,
that,
yes,
that is a really good advice. Thank you very much. That's how we're gonna plan this.
But like I don't know what they're
Disney with
doing
you
now.
guys, and you plan Comic-Con with us.
There you go.
Yeah,
I
deal.
don't know if they're still doing this now, but Rise of the Resistance was so stressful though, because you had to be inside the park before 7 a.m. So they open up the park, before 7. And
Yeah,
you get in the park. And I had to do all
Right.
this research because like I was on all these different websites that were telling you, first of all, do not hook up to the Wi-Fi at Disney World. Don't do it because it'll actually slow you down because everybody's jammed up in it and it slows it down. And so how they did it was you have to download the Disney app, right? You have to go to boarding group and then you have to keep refreshing, pulling down until it finally lets you into a boarding group. And you have to pick the boarding group and get in it. And I'm sitting there.
They just changed that so you
Did
can
they?
do it from your hotel because of COVID.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so yeah,
it was stressful as all get up, man, because we got there bright and early. It was a cool day, but it was still like we're inside the park, and like there were sites that says do it from just inside the park, just inside the front gate, because that was where it was best, and I had full bars and everything, because I know people like they'll go into the park, and there were people who didn't get boarding groups that day because like their cellular data wasn't good where they were. And so fortunately we got that. But like Tiffany said, it was so stressful because people around you hear people like as soon as that 7 a.m. hits and you start doing it, everybody's quiet. It was so crazy. You're in this place with thousands of people around you. And it's absolutely silent.
And you're like, come on.
And you're just like sitting there on your phone, just like, come on, do it. It's not doing it.
Actual birthday too, and I'm like, come on, I need a birthday blessing. Just let me get a boarding pass.
And then all of a sudden, like you hear people start like cheering off in the distance,
and your heart starts racing more.
And you're like, no, oh God, no, please. And then it's like we got it one finally, and we were like, what, 41?
Yeah.
And we ended up getting in at 11 a.m., which was perfect for us.
Because then we got to go meet Vader and Chewie and all that.
Yeah, but man, it was so stressful just to think that, like, because I know people who go and they don't get to. They never got to go on the ride.
Go to the I know you guys went for one day, but that's why you gotta go for multiple days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. We still want to take that big huge trip because Landon's never been, and my kids were younger, so we kind of want to do like now that they're older, just do like a week, and especially now with them putting the new stuff in the Universal Studios, they're gonna do the Super Mario World. I know they have it right now in Japan, but they're bringing one eventually over to the U.S. So.
I have a few friends who are also Star Wars cosplayers, and they live in Orlando, and they have season passes, so they just go. And it's like I've seen their like videos and Snapchats and whatnot about like the parks right now, like how it is with COVID, and it's like honestly, it's like that would be COVID aside, it's a good time to go to Disney. Yeah. Like these people are getting unique experiences.
Hi,
Cole, did you see this?
Oh,
yeah. This just came out yesterday.
That's gonna be our new toy.
You could start pre-ordering it yesterday. But it doesn't come out
arm, a leg, and your soul.
It's $249. So it's the same price as like the other sabers.
I don't have any Black Series. I only have my nice plastic ones, and then I've got my one combat saber.
But yeah, it's got. Oh my gosh!
I frankly have nowhere to put it, so I might hold off on getting actual the only sabers I really
want one.
The only sabers I really want, like that I'm like, other than the dark saber, because that's a big one, is Ahsoka's.
Yeah, that comes out in June as well. Yep.
Yeah.
Like I am dying to have Ahsoka's sabers.
I have Asajj Ventress, and then who else do I have, Enosh? Asajj, and then I have the one I made in Disney.
Yep, yours is right here. I got because you
were on
because you showed it to him before.
Yeah,
I have
the Rancor tooth.
I have like dozens of plastic ones. I think like other than my combat saber, the most high end one I have is from Disney. It was from my Kylo cosplay. And it was funny because I did the Kylo cosplay originally for San Diego Comic-Con. and I was excited because the saber looked great. It photographed great. It was just as good as any of I've seen online. And then it didn't fit in my bag.
Oh.
And there's a note that said on that you're not supposed to bring a lightsaber outside of like a box or something on the plane. So I had to go to Walmart and buy a collapsible one instead.
Oh
my gosh.
But
You know what I love about Comic-Con though is the fun part where because they know that so many nerds are traveling into the same place and are going to be carrying approximately the same kind of stuff. You actually get airlines to put out a special guidelines for that particular set of flights where they say like where you genuinely there are guidelines that say where you can carry your lightsabers.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Kind
awesome.
of things, and it's like it's funny, but it's also like
These are not weapons when we go through customs. Yeah.
Well, that's what happened to us when we brought our lightsabers back from Disney, because I did not want to check them, and so they give you these like these little sleeves that are padded and zip up, you know, and so I put both of ours together. I rubber banded them at the end, and then they had a shoulder strap, so I just flung it over my shoulder. And it was funny because people thought that they were kendo sticks. they thought that I was into martial arts, and so
you're like, sure.
Yeah, when we got off the plane back home, finally, we were getting off, and the pilot stopped us. He goes, "Oh, are you a martial artist?" And I went, "Kind of." And he says, "Well, what martial art do you study?" I said, "Well,
Jedi.
And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, these are lightsabers." And he's like,
Can I see?
"Cool." So, like, I carry my lightsaber. You know, I was, just got to be on the plane just in case. You know.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Guardians of the galaxy. You know.
I would not check that either. Definitely
Oh
not.
no.
Only if
Like,
that's always the problem though when you have like for us, and I mean, Cole, do you have anywhere the photo of our luggage when we go to San Diego these days? Because like she took a picture before the last one we went to, and it was just like 4 massive large luggages and like 2 carry-ons, and it's just like, so you're going for 5 days. What are you doing there? And it's like honestly, like for us, it like the last couple of years, it was because the luggages were usually full of stuff, promotional stuff for actually our TSC movements. So we handed that over, and then we filled those luggages with our collectibles.
Nice.
But like you don't actually want to part with those collectibles because like you know where they're going, and you're like, but my precious.
Yeah.
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 We used to. So Nana usually comes and spends a week or so here in Jersey with my family, and then we fly from Newark. And up until recently, we would take Southwest, which has 2 checked luggages for free. And so one would be my normal luggage, and the other would be the free bag, and we would fill that with stuff. And by the way, if you take 3 luggages, it's so difficult. Like 3 large luggages, and there's only 2 people. It's so difficult to navigate. But it's so worth it. It was so worth it though, because we really did need the extra space. But like when it comes to taking home our collectibles, like at one point, Nana like was refusing to put any of them in her luggage, so she puts them in her carry-on, and she was like, "But I can't fit."
I got the hard shell carry-on, and all my Funkos I usually carry in there. I don't want it in a main luggage. And I remember I was flying home one time, and it's the hard shell ones, they're usually split in half, and the one half has the zipper, right? So, and aside from that, I carried like a bunch of trinkets, like magnets and stuff like that. So when I send this through the scanner, obviously it picked up the magnets. So he put me aside and obviously started rummaging through the thing. And then he opened the zipper and opened all those, Funkos with the special Comic-Con stickers. And you could just see. What am I gonna?
That's awesome.
So it was like, but he was really nice, and he was just like, we started talking and all that stuff, and then he let me go. But it's like you could see the face, and it was just so funny because like there was like it's as if he discovered the treasure, as he.
Yeah.
I always have fun in airport security just because my carry-on is another hard case, but it's a Batman one. So I always end up with a security guard. And the last trip I took was last January. I went to see Nana, and I was going through security at JFK, and they were like, ooh, and they're like, who's got the luggage for Batman? Is Batman here? And I was like, hi, that's mine. He goes, Batgirl. It's so cute. Everyone compliments it and everything. But sometimes it's flagged to get scanned and stuff because it's got like this texture.
Yeah. Cool. I was going through security a couple of years ago, and the TSA guy, I always get pulled aside for some reason. The last 4 times I've flown, I have gotten pulled aside, and this guy is like get ready to feel me up and stuff, and he looks at my butt and he goes, "Sir, what do you have in your back pocket?" And I'm like, "Nothing." And he says, "Sir, I can see a bump. What do you have in your back pocket?" And I said, "Dude, I took everything out." I'm like, "Everything is in... Yeah." And he just looks at me and I'm like, "That's my butt." and he looked and like he felt me up and he's like, "Oh,
you're right.
You're good to go."
Told you.
Like, he was so embarrassed because he's just like, I see a bump and I'm like, "That's my butt."
It's called a butt.
Tiff, tell them about. Oh gosh, I wish so bad I could have gotten a picture of this. I wish that I could have gotten this. This would have been epic. Tiff, tell them about when you had an X-ray done.
Yeah. So see what happened was I went to the doctor and they needed to do an X-ray, and I was having pain in my hips and my back. And so they told me, go ahead and put on this gown. And I asked them out of habit, do I need to take my undergarments off? And they said, "Is there any metal?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Okay, yeah, that's fine. You can keep the underwear on." So I had to get into, this machine where they bring the stuff down, they're doing the X-ray. And then the next thing they do is they stop and they said, "Did you take, do you have any piercings or something down there? Because, because of what we saw." And I said, "What is down there?" And she goes, "There's a bat symbol on your pelvis." And I did not even think. I was wearing a pair of underwear that had like these little tiny metal grommets that made the bat symbol.
Oh my God.
So
I so wish I could get that X-ray. I so wish I could get that X-ray.
We didn't have good insurance at the time, so in order to get that X-ray was going to cost like $500.
You should have been like, "Listen, if I give you my phone, can you please take a picture?"
I know, exactly. Oh. But so somewhere out there, I have this X-ray with a Batman symbol on my pelvis.
That's amazing. I love
it. That's my wife. I love it. That's my wife.
I love that. Do you have any piercing? That would be a really intense, like, surface piercing to have.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what she thought it was by the way that it looked on the X-ray. So I'm like, yeah, no, I don't have that much patience. So
like if anybody has piercing ideas.
Yeah, there you go.
When she told me that, I laughed so hard. I can't even remember how long I laughed for. I just
You cried. You were laughing so hard. You're like, "Please tell me you got that X-ray." I'm like, "I tried and it wasn't worth the money." So, and then of course, now we get like 3 lightsabers in 1, year, and surpasses that. So,
I went to out on my way home from Nana's. I got pulled away from security for them to search my purse. And they're like, "Ma'am, why does it look like there's a grenade in your purse?" And I'm like, "There's literally not a grenade. Like, I'm not even joking." And they didn't seem to suspect me too much because like they didn't call in, the armed forces that are all hanging around. And so like, "Just come here." And they had me walk over to look at the X-ray thing. They're like, "What's that?" And I was like, "It's a phone charger." And they're looking at me like, "Really? Really?"
So, you know what? These days you actually have to take out phone chargers. You have to, I have a separate bag just for them because whenever we go, I have like 5 of them. So
yeah. Well, this airport told us not to take them out for, I guess, because it was Gatwick. It was crazy at the moment, and so I was on the phone with Nana, and I was like, "I gotta go." So she's nervous. And I'm pulled out and they're going through my bag and they're like using a stick and they're going so cautious and they're like, "Seriously, be honest. Like, do we have to call the bomb squad?" I was like, no, I swear. And I was like, please, like, I can grab it. Like, and so they actually let me. And I reach in, it was a chibi Voldemort phone charger. And they looked at it. And like the stress just drained from the body. And they were just laughing so hard. And they I ended up standing there for an additional like 5 minutes while they showed their friends.
Nice.
They were showing like the picture and that. It
Here's
was
the
so
picture. Here's what it actually was.
You know, speaking of bomb squad, that happened to me on Bristol Airport. I was flying from Bristol to Edinburgh and to meet my mom because we were supposed to go on like a weekend trip. And I had these winter boots because we went in March. And obviously Scotland is much colder than down here with us in Wales. We just have a lot of rain, but that's it. So I had these boots and they had like a strong, what's it called? Oh yeah,
Nice.
That's the grenade
in a bag. How that would look.
But anyway, so they were like, well, you have to take off these boots. And on the UK airports, you don't necessarily always have to take off your shoes. It depends how thick your heel is. So these were deemed too thick because they were on like a higher platform, is like this thick, but still. So I put it in there, and I am going. You know, I went through, and my luggage went through, and my purse went through, and all my stuff that I was carrying with me went through, except for those boots that somehow flagged the red alert on the thing. And I was like, my boots? What the heck is wrong with my boots? Now, mind you, they were on the like last leg. They were like falling apart. It's just like I actually bought new boots in Edinburgh because I couldn't handle walking in them anymore. So they were on their last legs. They were in a horrible shape. So my horribly looking boots are over there flagging the alert. And I'm like, well, the only alert that they should flag on this is just how terrifying these boots look. But like otherwise. And I had to stand there for a solid hour before they actually like checked those, because there were not like enough people to check all that stuff. So like they took forever. And then the guy just looked at them, realized how stupid the entire thing is, and just gave them to me. And I'm like, well, thanks.
You just wasted an hour. I
was just really happy that I was super early for my plane because like I would miss it. And it was just like, I genuinely texted my mom, if I have to stay here for another half an hour, I'm flying to Edinburgh shoeless, just letting you know. Like,
wow.
I think the best airport security moment, though, was when I was with my mom. Because the last time she flew was the first time she flew after she broke her leg. Shortly after 9/11, she fell down the stairs and broke every bone from from below the knee to her ankle. She had massive hardware in her leg. And she had a doctor's note because you're supposed to if you have metal in your body. But
your mom popping up like this at the airport. I'm ready to go through.
So she gave them the note and everything, and like they just have you take off your shoes, and then they felt her leg to make sure like it was squishy and organic, and not like, sketch. And so she goes through, and they're like, "This is flagging everything. Like it's freaking like lights and sirens." They're like, "Well, can you take it off?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure. I'll cut my leg off."
Man,
like a prosthetic.
Well, I don't have a prosthetic. I don't have a prosthetic, but it was funny. I forgot all about this till you said that, because when we flew to Vegas this last summer, Tiff, do you remember that the thing that goes around you and actually does your full body scan, that it was pulling up in my crotchal region, and they pulled me aside, and the guy's like, "Sir, do you have anything in your pants?" And I'm like, "Dude, no." And he's like, "Do you have a?" Yeah, he's like, "Do you have a piercing?" I'm like, "I don't have a piercing. There's no way, dude. I spent my whole life trying to keep things from piercing that area. I'm not putting anything through that area." And he's like, "Dude," he's like,
"It's flagging.
Something is showing up." And so they put me through again, and it popped up again. And I'm like, "Dude, there's nothing metal there besides my zipper." I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you." And like they bring the gun out, and the gun, the wand didn't work or whatever. And he's like, I'm going to have to feel this. He's like, would you prefer that we go to a private area, or do you prefer I do it here? I said, if you're going to put me through this, you're going to do it out here in front of everybody. If I'm going to be embarrassed and have you grabbing me, everybody's going to watch you grabbing me. And so literally this guy has to get in front of me and like pat me down. And I'm just standing there kind of like with my hands on my hips.
Like, go ahead.
Go for it. Have fun. Everybody's walking by and this guy's feeling me up. And I'm just like,
and he found it.
He didn't have to tell him yet.
Yep.
I said, I've been called the man of steel, but I didn't think, that was the case. But
I think when my grandpa, the last time he flew was when I was 16, and he was my Aunt Pat, the oldest of the kids, took him, like she drove him to the airport. And because he was elderly, they let her escort him as so far. And so she stood to make sure he got through security okay. And she's watching from the gate. And this poor security officer, who was a young lady, is giving him a hard time because he was having trouble getting his belt off. And with my granddad, bless him, he wore suspenders and a belt. And so he takes the belt off, he puts it there, and she's still giving him a hard time. And he goes, and he's like, I need a moment or else my pants will fall down. And she's just like, oh, come on, move it. And so he goes, you know what? He takes off the suspenders, his pants drop to the floor. Nice. He's like, I told you. And my Aunt Pat is standing there like, oh, Dad, oh my God. And then she's on the phone with my mom, like, what do I do? What do I do? And my grandpa's just...
It's up to security now.
And so they
you know what? It's like they can be so rude. They can be so rude, and it's like I get it. You're in a rush, and it's a stressful job and whatnot. But it's stressful for these people too, and especially for people who may not be on the airports that often.
You hit a certain age where you just don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I said. I was like, go for it, dude. I don't care.
He's standing in his tidy whities, and this poor person's like I felt bad for her, even though she gave him a hard time and basically put herself, because that's not what you expect, that you're gonna end up with an old man giving you the stink eye with his pants around his ankles. Mm-hmm. And another security officer came over, was like, sir, let me help you. I'm helping put his pants back on and everything, and helped him get set up so he could walk through without his pants falling.
You know what I really like when you're talking about this whole pants story? What is really funny for me is whenever I'm flying to Czechia to visit my family, what's really popular amongst UK people is to fly to Prague for their stag parties and stuff. And it's because Prague is super cheap. You can actually fly to Prague and buy almost 5-star accommodation and get completely wasted and do all that for a quarter of the price that you would spend over here if you went out for beer.
Oh, wow.
Prague, one thing you need to know about Czech Republic, beer is cheaper than water. So just paint the picture. Out here, okay? So no wonder that it's really popular spot. So they will,
over here in the States, the beer just tastes like water.
Yeah, no. Our beer is much stronger and it's cheaper than water. By that I mean you buy a pint of beer, and you pay approximately $1.50, and you buy a half pint of water, and you pay $2. That's the price comparison that I'm talking about.
Wow.
Yeah. And they will not give you tap water for free. That's just not happening.
Wow.
But all the water is filtered, so you can just get it from the bathroom and it's fine.
Yeah, but that's not exactly what you want to do when you're in a restaurant, will you? So that's why it's super popular. People when they want to party, they just book a weekend in Prague and they go and they get smashed in Prague, because when you pay $1.50 for a pint of beer and you pay $2, $3 for a shot of whatever you want to drink, You know, that's easy. Like how easy you get drunk, you know.
Yeah.
So it's popular, but that also means that sometimes when I'm at the airport and I get on the plane with these people who are flying on this party, they dress in absolutely ridiculous shit. And that also means, and they usually already start before they reach the airport. So like it's like, you know, they're in the funny mood. And one particular one that stuck with me was the stack party, and this one guy had one of those costumes where it looks like you're sitting on a unicorn, you know, those kind of silly costume things. And he was trying to go through the scanner, and the lady was like, I'm sorry, I can't let you do that. And he was like, okay then, and he dropped it.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
you want me to tell you? That was like the year that I accidentally flashed Disney World when I went for my senior trip. And that was only because
yes, Prague is a magical place. Just saying. Anyway, carry on, Tiff.
I was thinking that same thing though too, that he had said. But I was with my family. We were in Animal Kingdom the year it first opened. We're standing, like waiting for a parade to pass. And I was younger, I was thinner, I was wearing like overall shorts and a tank top. And there was a bug about that big landing right here on my shirt. So I just turned around, grandma. No, like it's on the front of my chest.
Oh.
So I turn around and face my mom and my grandma who were with me. And I just kind of pull it forward and I'm like, Mom, get this. I can't even because I went to go like this to flick it off and it jumped down. So my mom's trying to grab in my shirt in front of everyone in Disney to try to get this beetle looking bug out. And it's like, I'm trying not to freak. And then finally she grabs it and it like slithered down further into my shirt. I just I'm like, get it out. She like takes it, whips it, throws it to the ground. I turn I put my sunglasses back on. I face the parade. I had this couple next to me saying how much they loved this country. And then my grandma, like without skipping a beat, she comes and puts her arm around me as the parade's done. She's like, so what do you do for an encore? And I'm like, I didn't mean to do that, but I am not going to have an 1.5 inch long beetle down my shirt while there's
I would have probably
dancing.
And that's why life around our house is like Disney World every day.
I like to think that I'm in control of my reactions, but no, that would have been me too. Except I probably would have like ripped off my shirt and been like, whoops.
Well, the fact that she was there, my mom and I were always close anyway, so I was just like, get this out. But when it went down further, I'm just like, get it.
You're like, screw it.
I'm like, sorry, little kid, but this is not happening. So.
Yeah, no, it's moments like this
good time.
That you remember forever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You and the people around you as well.
That was my story.
You're like, remember that somebody somewhere is like, remember the time that we went to Disney World and that girl totally pulled her top down?
See, at least that happened at Disney. If it happened at Walmart, it would have been on the internet in an instant.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, it was the happiest place on earth.
Oh, so. Definitely. You gave you definitely made it even happier for some people.
Someone showed their boobs. Haha.
Okay, the little Mickey laugh just, oh my God.
And I think we're 2.5 hours. That's probably where we should end.
Yeah, I think this might be a good note to end it on, since we went almost half an hour over.
For those of you that never flashed Disney.
You see this, guys. You have to travel. There's things that you can only see at the airports and in Disney World.
Exactly.
You know, like it's just not going to happen anywhere else.
You get self up at the airport. I flash Disney. We're a good couple.
Yeah. So wear a mask. Make this help us get rid of this COVID thing. So
also, so no one recognizes you when you do something embarrassing. You also have to wear a mask so nobody else recognizes you when you do something embarrassing. Everybody.
That is very true. That is very
total deniability. That's not me.
So if you do drop trout, it doesn't matter. Be like, I wasn't wearing that kind of mask. My mask was just a plain one. I didn't have, Pickle Rick on the front.
Because Pickle Rick would just make it better.
Yeah. Pickle Rick!
Anyway, where can we find you, Tiff, Enosh?
You can find me. I am either going to be Tifftastic, which is where you can find me on Vero, and Tiffany on Facebook. But mostly I am Grand Tiff Tarkin, and that is on Twitter, and that is also on
Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah, I was going to say Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. I am on Poindexter Lounge with Enosh.
You can find me at Poindexter Lounge pretty much everywhere. Vero, Instagram, Twitter's a little different because they won't give it. They shortened us one letter. We can't get the full word in both words, so it's Poindexter with just no E in the middle. So it's just the X. But yeah, we're all over the place, and of course on the Poindexter Lounge channel.
Yes, where you can find amazing interview with Ray Fisher if you haven't watched it yet.
It was fun. How cute was Ben?
It was adorable.
You guys were all adorable.
Yes.
Because I could hear the fanboying in your voice.
Well, just when he started, he's like, "Welcome to the Poindexter Lounge." Like, he was so happy.
Well, I mean, you know, makes sense.
So that's it for this show. Everyone have happy Christmas. And I think we'll see you in the new year. We'll see you next year.
Happy Christmas, happy holidays, and we'll see you in January when the girl gang will be back, and we will actually get more girls.
And maybe we'll have some more fun
I was
stories.
just one of the girls tonight. I was just one of the girls tonight.
Next time, wear a wig.
Okay,
Next time we'll have a flash, everybody.
I got a blonde wig somewhere. I should have wore that.
You should.
You should
Now we're
have.
gonna have to do this whole thing over again. Okay, come back in 20 seconds. We'll be right back.
And that's the League of Mayhem signing off.